And we are live. Grand Rising. Are you ready to go this morning? Got about 1 minute.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
3, 2, 1.
Unmuted. We've come to the end of our show today, but you can hear every show. Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning at 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China,
Ni hao.
in India,
Namaste.
in Japan,
Konnichiwa.
in Korea, annyeonghaseyo,
Annyeonghaseyo.
in Russia,
Здравствуйте.
in Germany, Guten Tag,
Guten Tag.
in Poland, Dzień dobry,
Dzień dobry.
in France, Bonjour,
Bonjour.
in Spain, Hola, in Italy, Ciao, in Egypt, Hassan Wasata,
Asen
in
wasa.
Ghana, Akwaba, in Nigeria, Paleo, in South Africa, Sawubona, in
Sabona.
Senegal, Nangade,
Nangade.
in Kenya, Jambo,
Jumbo.
Israel, Shalom, in Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum,
Assalamu alaikum.
and may
Greetings.
peace be upon you all. Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed into the swing of things? Not really. You are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with Zelda Speaks for your Monday morning mindfulness session on Blog Talk Radio, the Female Solution. Mondays, 7:30 to 9 a.m. Be sure to include your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit DeltaSpeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/inspiration coach, Delta Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moments with us today. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay in the next session of mindfulness on higher learning with Delta Speaks. Make it a mindful day. Thanks for listening.
Grand Rising. And thank you for joining us this morning on the Female Solution. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness. I'm your host, Zelda Speaks. And as always, thank you for joining us this morning. You could be doing something else with your morning, but that shows that you are a thinker. You are a master thinker because you're up early in the morning when other folks are asleep and you're getting the knowledge so you can pass it on. Well, you were at the right place at the right time doing the right thing because today it's all about you and spring cleaning your body. Are you a weekend warrior? Like many are since we've all been quarantined over a year. Well, All that is coming to an end. And today we are talking about spring cleaning, body tune-ups with Dr. O of Wicker Park Chiro and Physio PR. And he'll be coming on in the 7:30 hour. So you be sure and tune in. Text somebody, call them right now. Let them know Dr. O's on. Oh my goodness. Not Dr. Oz. I said Dr. O. We got our own Dr. O. Okay. So you be sure and share that this morning. Happy Earth Day, birthday, born day. If today's your birthday and you're celebrating that birthday, we're celebrating it with you. So happy Earth Day, birthday, born day to you. And may you have many, many more, because somebody somewhere didn't make it today. Somebody somewhere is not as blessed as you. So kudos to you. And yes, you know we're talking about spring cleaning. So if you're listening online, you want to join the conversation, 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. If you've got questions for myself or my guests, and we can open your microphone, but you got to press 1 when you want to speak. And we'll be taking calls after the 7:30 break. Be sure and follow me on social media on our YouTube channel, Higher Learning TV Show. When you see that logo, you'll know you're at the right place. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Zelda Speaks, the number 2 and the letter U. I've got a Zelda Speaks, but there's nothing on it. So Zelda Speaks to you. Alrighty, and on Pixely, if you haven't been to the new site by the Women's Media Group, pixely.com, Pixeoly, be sure and log on to that. You know, women are not celebrated in the tech area. So this is a site by a woman journalist, and I'm on it, and you should be on it too. And also, there's another app called Click, KLIK. It's like a combination of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, all in one. And it can go live. I forgot. We can go live on that. And I forgot about that this morning. But that's okay, because I will go live in a little bit. And also, there is some brand new information that you need to be aware of. And it's all on my blog at zeldaspeaks.wordpress.com. zeldaspeaks.wordpress.com. And, you know, I'm always talking about pain and inflammation in my joints. So there's information that is available for you. And I share that with you on zelda.now.site. That's zelda.now.site, SITE. And if you are concerned with what you're putting in your mouth, like food, have you noticed the price of groceries have went up tremendously? You might want to consider putting growing your own food, because right now we're all eating trash. Because if you don't grow it, you don't know it. You don't know where it came from. So check out my tower garden, zeldarobinson.towergarden.com. Many of you know I had diabetes. I reversed it. If I can do it, you can too. So go to diabeticdonut.com. There is a free ebook there for you. Download it and share it with somebody, because we all know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who's a diabetic, if we're not diabetic ourselves. Because I was diabetic, pre-diabetic for 10 years. That's a long time. Wound up in the hospital. That's a whole nother story. It's all in the ebook. Download it. It's free. So let's check in with your traffic and weather as we take a look in Chicago. Upper 30s today, which is sponsored by itex.com, ITEX. If you are a business owner or an entrepreneur, this is a barter agency. If you have a product or a service, then you can use it to buy practically anything you need. We've traveled, we've bought a car, we've bought equipment, anything you can buy anywhere else you can buy. I was about to say it's the new Amazon, but it's better than Amazon because you don't pay money. And their motto, I love their motto. It says pay attention or pay cash. So go to itex.com and you get a $100 bonus just for signing on if you mention a promo code Zelda. Thank you, Rich McGee. And as we take a look, there are no reported delays on CTA or Metro, but on the Kennedy, that's another story. As usual, your Monday morning traffic slow at Canfield on the Kennedy inbound, 20 minutes inbound, 22 minutes outbound. Inbound on the Eatons is 21, 20 on the reverse. Inbound on the Eatons is 28 minutes in from the junk book. from the Jane Byrne Junction, and 21 on the reverse. On the Stevenson, it's 20 minutes in, 15 in. Outbound, it's slow from Harlem to Cicero. Expect bumper to bumper traffic, traffic gapers there, I should say. Inbound on the Rhine, it's 15, 14 on the reverse. On the Bishop Ford, it's 10 minutes in, 11 on the outbound due to the crash on 157th Street. So expect delays if you're traveling in the area. And make sure to drive 9 minutes in, 12 minutes out. And that's your traffic and weather sponsored by Karen Kelly of itex.com. Be sure and tell her Zelda sent you. And it's time for your morning inspiration from Inspirational Conversations, 365 Days of Empowerment from Shalomith Yisrael, aka Zelda Speaks. Today I'm reading from April 26th, and it says, home is where the hurt is. Home is where a lot of our pain begins. No one can hurt us like people who know us best. Why is that? I guess people who are in pain want someone else to experience the same pain that they have. You heard the saying, misery loves company. Well, it's true. However painful a situation may be, it comes to teach us lessons that we often do not want to learn. So the next time pain appears in your life, ask yourself the question, what did it come to teach me? You may not get the answer right away, but if you take the time and sit down and begin to write about this pain, you will feel something good to come out of it. But you got to journal every single day. 5 minutes. You're worth it. Question is, are you willing to work through the pain? Inspirational Conversations available at higherlearningnetwork.org. Comes with a free signature, a little love wrapped up inside a book in my signature. And benefits proceed the Higher Learning Network TV show. Teen Talent Contest. You see that logo when you go online? You'll be at the right place. Higher Learning TV show. You see, we had the round 5 of the Teen Talent show this past weekend, Saturday. It's every 4th Saturday. You have children, you want them to compete between the ages of 13 and 19, then have them send a 1-minute clip, a video clip, and upload it to YouTube, and then send us the link. And they can send it to hlntvshow@gmail.com. Now, this past Saturday, we had 4 contestants who sang 2 songs each. Actually, they were rappers, singers, spoken word, and I'm just so delighted to be a part of this, to see how our young people are flourishing. And our first contestant was Capri Everett. Talk about Mariah Carey. She is a young Mariah Carey in the making. And you can go back and see all of these on our YouTube link, Higher Learning TV show. Our second contestant was Zia Janae. Was it Zia Janae? It's one of them, ZIA. You know, I'm kind of partial to the Z, right? Anyway, she was like a combination, and wrote her own songs, mind you. She was like a combination of India Arie, Michelle DiCello, and a little Erykah Badu. So you know. And she got the most votes too. Oops, did I just let it out? Oh, sorry. Okay. And number 3 was Martin Kama. He was a singer. He sang 2 songs, and he reminded you of, remember Michael Bublé? Yeah. He reminded you of him, a little Jim Carrey, a little, what's that other guy's name? Harry Connick Jr. and Frank Sinatra. This young man could sing. You got to go to the YouTube channel and watch it. It's titled Teen Talent Contest, April 24th. So you got to go see that. And last but not least, another young lady from the west side of Chicago. Actually, both of our ladies, Zaya and Amber Murdoch. She's 18 years old. She was very clever. She sent in a black and white video and a color video and spoke in, was it Mandarin, something like that? Yeah. She talked about violence, domestic violence. Young girl, 18 years. I mean, these, I want to call them kids, but they're not. These young adults are putting it down. So, special thanks to all of you who participated, and I'll be announcing the winner. I think you already know. It was just so much fun. Yeah, I just look so forward to doing it. And the next one is May 22nd. Remember, it's every fourth Saturday, May 22nd. And coming up sometime in the show, we're going to announce the winner. You have an idea, but you really don't. Anyway, be sure and join us. I'll be sharing that information later. And I'll also be sharing information on, well, I can share it now, on the higher learning stress relief virtual spa experience. If you go to my not blog talk, WordPress page, you will see that. Zelda Speaks WordPress.com. You'll see that information there. But enough of that. Right now it's time for your Monday morning mindfulness. And that is your stress relief session that I will be giving you here. And we do it in like 5 minutes or a little bit more. Excuse me. So let us become still so that we can experience life today in a meaningful way where we find ourselves in a quiet, comfortable spot. Nothing in our hands, nothing in our lap, feet flat on the floor, sitting up straight if you can. If you can't, if you're lying down, it's okay too, because I lie down sometime too. Anywho, what we will do is begin the breathing process, and we will breathe in and out through our nose. Take a long, deep breath, hold it, and exhale. I said, you feel that immediately. There's power in those deep breaths. And we breathe so shallow every day, and we wonder why we're stressed out. Number one, we're not getting enough oxygen to the brain. We're not saluting, I like to say, the cells and the membranes and the tissues and the ligaments and the fibers and the joints. We're not giving them what they need to help us combat all the tension that is out there. So we do that with the power of the breath. So enough talking. Let's inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. Oh, you feel that calming effect already. And close your eyes. You should not be looking at me, but the inside of your eyelids as we inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. Oh, that feels good already. Let's do it again. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. Now, as you continue to breathe in and breathe out, to giving thanks for the power of the breath. Knowing that we are always at the right place, at the right time, doing the right thing. As we breathe in, we give thanks for the power of the breath, because someone somewhere cannot breathe on their own. And look at you taking that breath for granted. Inhale deeply, giving thanks for the power of the breath as we breathe in, feeling the air flow down through our nostrils, down through our throat, because someone somewhere has a trachea in their throat, unable to breathe on their own on a lung machine, or just have sinus congestion and just can't breathe. Breathing is a beautiful thing, but if you can't breathe on your own, you need help. That's why we practice it right here. Inhale deeply. And we give thanks for those who are out there on the front lines, making things possible. And for those who are sick and shut in, feeling unloved and left alone and lonesome, not being okay with being alone, which is really at one with the self, one with the spirit, one with the creator that has given us this time to be at one, at long, and to listen for the lessons as we breathe in and as we breathe out. And we pray for those who are alone and lonely and in pain and often turn to become a weekend warrior because they've been quarantined and now they want to get out. But those muscles have been sitting, they have been numb, they have not been used. As we breathe in and as we breathe out, we remember that muscles have memory. And if you use them, if you haven't used them in a long time, just know that when you do go to use them, they have memory and they will take up where they left off. And hopefully, this breathing exercise and today's show will propel us into the right direction of staying in motion as we breathe in and as we breathe out. Because a body in motion, inhale deeply, stays in motion. Exhale. We give thanks for the power of the breath as we take a long, deep inhale, bringing all that energy to the top of the head. And as we exhale, feel the energy moving down through the face, the chin, and the neck as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, rub those shoulders, the back of the shoulders, where we hold all of that tension, where we release and let go of that tension as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, we give thanks for the power of the breath, knowing that the power of the breath and massaging these muscles in the back of the neck will release some of the tension as we breathe in and as we breathe out. And take your hand and squeeze the back of your neck as you breathe in. Squeezing the back of the neck, massaging the vagus nerve, giving thanks for the power of the vagus nerve that runs up and down your spine to the back of your brain, down to your spine, sending love and light and energy for the electric being that you are. We give thanks for the power of the vagus nerve as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, continue sending love and light and energy down through the solar plexus and the sides and the stomach and the back. Inhale deeply. And as we exhale, sending more love and light and energy down through the hips and the thighs and the knees. Oh, yes, those glorious knees, giving thanks for the thighs and the knees and the legs and the ankles. Feel free to wiggle those ankles as we are rubbing on these knees because it just feels so good. Inhale deeply. And as we exhale, wiggle those toes, sending that energy of love and light and energy back up through the feet as you are smiling at these feet. They love you. They keep you walking and moving all day as you inhale deeply. Bringing that energy back up through the feet, the ankles, the arches, the instep, the ball of the foot, the back of the foot, the legs, and yes, the knees. Bringing that energy back up with your breath through the thighs and the hips and the buttocks and the back as we inhale. Bringing the energy back up through our back and our shoulders and our neck and our chin. Inhaling deeply. Bringing that energy all the way back up through the head as we exhale. Inhale once more, one more long, deep inhale. And as we exhale, bring your head forward, chin to chest, and slowly, slowly, slowly rotate the head to the left. Slowly bring the head back around to the back, and finally around to the right. Slowly, slowly, Slowly bringing the head back front and center. Head up. Inhale deeply. And exhale, bringing the forehead back down, chin to chest, and slowly rotating the head to the right. Slow down, you're moving too fast. Slowly rotating the head to the back and over to the left, and slowly bringing the head back around. Oh, that feels so good. You might have felt a little pop here and there, but it's just the air between the muscles and the tissues and the ligaments as we give thanks, as we inhale deeply. We give thanks for all of the muscles and the ligaments and the tendons that are in our body. As we breathe in, turning our head to the left as far as we possibly can, feeling the stretch in the right of the neck, and slowly bringing the head back forward. Inhale deeply. And as you exhale, turning the head to the right as far as you possibly can, feeling a stretch in the left of the neck, and bringing the head back front and center. As we inhale deeply, take one more long, deep inhale and stretch. Stretch, 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 stretch. Move that body, wiggle those shoulders. Yes. Oh, that feels so good. You can do that anytime you feel tension or stress in the body. You simply inhale deeply and exhale. Doesn't that feel just glorious as you keep your eyes closed, giving thanks for the power of the breath, with a great big smile on your face? Just know that, ladies and gentlemen, you have just sent light and love to each and every organ in your body. As you smile, as you think of every organ in your body as your friend, and you treat them accordingly by giving them the nutrition and the movement that it needs. As you inhale deeply, smiling now with your eyes closed, with the focus on the brain that gives you directions to do everything that you need to do today. The most complex organ inside the body is the brain, and we are so grateful as we smile at it and give thanks, knowing that this brain can take us anywhere we want to go physically and mentally. As we inhale deeply, smiling more at the lungs that keep us breathing, the larynx, the throat, the liver, the lungs, the pancreas, the spine, and the spleen. Don't forget about that vagus nerve. Inhale deeply. Giving thanks for all of the systems that are working in our body unbeknownst to us. All we have to do is breathe to give it more energy. We give thanks for the digestive system. We give thanks for the assimilation system. We give thanks for the elimination system. Yes, and I know some of y'all constipated, but send me an email. We'll talk about it. Help get you some relief. As we inhale deeply, giving thanks for the reproductive system and all the other systems that we know nothing about, but they are constantly working on our behalf just as we inhale deeply and exhale. And just let that marinate. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just ignited the happiness genes in your body. Yes, you just told them all that you are simply wonderful. You are feeling wonderful. And you can continue to feel that way as long as you breathe in and breathe out. And remember to breathe through your nose as you open your eyes, giving thanks for the glory of this day, for the power of sight, because someone somewhere is not as fortunate as you. And this is something that you can practice on a daily basis. It doesn't have to take 5 or 10 minutes. You can do it in 5 or 10 seconds, because when folks get up in your face and they can't understand that you are a divine being, but they want to ruffle your feathers, you simply breathe in. And when you breathe out, if you got a little stank on your breath, little funk, this is when you breathe through your mouth. And I promise you, they will leave you alone. And there are more tips like that on my YouTube page, Zelda Speaks. Okay. So go to my YouTube page and you'll see the testimonials. You'll see all the glorious experiences that people are having. And you can have them too, like you just had here on Monday Morning Mindfulness. And at 7:30, you know what that means, right? It's time for our Monday Morning Mindfulness first break. And with that said, we're going to have you call in when you have questions at 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. And remember, a body that in motion stays in motion. Coming up at 7:30 after the break, we'll have Dr. O on, so you stay close.
Hi, I'm Dr. CJ of Valona Health, where we combine orthopedic manual therapy and neuroscience to treat the whole person. Health tip for the day is keep it moving. Doesn't matter how, just keep it moving, doing something you enjoy. Walking, dancing, rolling on the floor with your dogs or kids, really anything. The body craves movement to keep its bones, joints, and the muscles happy. Even our mental health and internal organs and digestive system rely on our movement. Thanks for being a part of the Higher Learning Network for the Female Solution.
What happens when a group of people are kidnapped from their homes, smuggled away in chains, and held captive in a foreign land where they are tortured, raped, and forced to perform hard labor by the lash of a whip?
No, you got to click on the link. Add to screen.
The African American psychic trauma.
Do I need to send the link again?
Writers, scientists, builders,
all right.
educators, and spiritual leaders from Africa's golden age. Who did they really capture and sell into slavery? Are all African Americans suffering from psychic trauma because of a conspiracy to hide their true identities? Do you have psychic trauma? Take the test on page 22 of the book and see. Order it online today at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. And get your personally autographed copy of it. Slavery, the African American psychic trauma.
Are you constantly arguing with your spouse? Are your children misbehaving and acting out? Is someone in your family abusing drugs? Have you been a victim of domestic violence? Are you grieving the loss of a loved one? Let us help you restore serenity to your life. At Serenity Family Social Services, we understand that good mental health is a result of emotional well-being. Our goal is to assist you and your family in removing emotional distress and restoring harmony and balance to your lives. We offer individual, couples, and family counseling. I'm Howard Williams, CEO of Serenity Family Social Services. Call us today at 312-315-4820. That's 312-315-4820.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Helping culture, world peace, and restoration of life transcend culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I'm Director Kim of HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com. Everything you need
What your body needs is found in nature. So Susan Essentials doesn't do it any other way. Susan Essentials provides your employees and individuals access to over 20,000 nutritional products, and they are shipped direct to your door. Because Susan Essentials is certified in plant-based healing, we're committed to offer you the best nutritional supplements on the planet. They're non-GMO and sustainably produced, and we take the guesswork out for you. Let Susan Essentials help you take control of your health today. About finances, family, health, job, relationships.
Are you in pain? Do you feel stuck?
If you answer yes to any of these questions, help is available. Don't worry, you're not alone. It's part of the human process. You really feel this way because you haven't mastered the voices in your head. No worries, just down-to-earth, solid, workable tools and techniques that you can practice daily. It's really food for the soul. Whether you want to learn how not to worry about anything, whether it's type 2 diabetes, promote the product or service, or just make extra money. Take advantage of the deal of the day. Go to wellnesspeaks.com or call 202-409-6619. Mention promo code Female Solution and get free shipping. That's wellnesspeaks.com or 312-409-6619. Stop worrying today. Visit wellnesspeaks.com.
Grand Rising, and thank you for joining us back here on Monday Morning Mindfulness. I'm Zelda Speaks, and joining me in this hour would be our very own Dr. O. Yay! Dr. O, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We so appreciate you. We could not do it without you, because otherwise I'd be here talking to myself, right?
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for showing up this morning. I'm looking for some information that I have. But anyway, oh, there it is. I wanted to give you a nice welcome this morning.
Thank you.
Dr. O, which is short for
Alopo.
Alopo. Now, you know, I've got to ask the question, and I know everybody else wants to know. Dr. O, we're not talking about Dr. Oz on TV. We got our own Dr. O here on the Female Solution, Dr. Alopo. Now, first things first, I know you, but the world doesn't. Well, the world does know you, but they don't know what I know about you. So first of all, I want you to share with our audience, because everybody wants to know, if it's not a so-called American name, what is it and what does it mean? So tell us a little bit about that name, Alopo, Dr. O.
Yeah. So my last name is Nigerian. So my father is from an area in Nigeria called Ile-Ife, and Ile-Ife. Yeah. That's where he was born and raised, and he came to America to study some chemistry, I believe it was, and then he met my mother, and you know, the rest was history. So my mother's African American, my father's native Nigerian, and there was like I guess a bit of a discussion on what my name was going to end up being. My first name is Olusegun, by the way.
Okay.
You know, yeah. So the idea was that I was not going to have a name that had any kind of like lineage to servitude in America. So hence Olusegun. So yeah, in the name, Shegun means God is victorious in Yoruba, yeah, which is the primary language in Nigeria. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for that education. I've always wanted to go to Nigeria. I've been to East Africa and South Africa, but people always tell me, you ain't been nowhere. You ain't been to West Africa. You ain't been nowhere. I'm like, oh my God. So that's on my to-do list. What they call it? My bucket list.
The bucket list, yeah. Maybe I'll go with you and we'll do a mission trip out there or something.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. Oh, I love it, 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 love it. Okay. So now people are always hearing me talk about my pain and inflammation. I even had so much pain before I came to see you, where we were sitting here. We do an after show called The After Show, The Female Solution. And one day I was in so much pain, and because I know a little secret that you shared with me, a body in motion stays in motion. But what was the little cliche that you used? I love that. That is so special.
Oh, for the joints, motion is lotion. Right.
Yeah, motion is lotion.
Right.
Motion is lotion.
Motion is lotion.
So I'm aching one day, and I know just a little bit of movement helps. So I'm sitting here rocking back and forth, and the executive producer of the show, Naima Latif, says, "Oh, I'm going to rock with you, so we'll look good doing this." Okay. So we're rocking. So we gave it a name. We call it the higher learning hip roll, because I was hip issues at the time. But the hip issue is what brought me to you, and I was having issues. And you gave me a regimen that worked so well, I stopped coming. And you had like, well, okay, so why'd you stop? It's like, you all get a little better, and you think you don't need to come see me again. Okay, long story short, people have been sitting for over a year now, and then they want to go out and become a weekend warrior, and that's the worst thing to do, because what do you call it? You have muscle atrophy or something like that, where you have
muscle atrophy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And 9 times out of 10 you're going to hurt yourself. So I would like for you to share with our listeners not only a little bit about yourself and what gives you the authority to be the authority that you are, and how that they can ease out of the couch potato into being a full body experience and not being in pain like I was.
Okay, so first off, I guess I can share a little bit about my background.
Yes.
Yeah. So starting off from So I have a doctorate in physical therapy and sports medicine from the University of Illinois, Chicago. So I'm a UIC grad. Yeah, and I mean, really, over the past 5-6 years, I've been just honing my craft, and just kind of taking that passion that I developed through some of my background in athletics and in applying a lot of the motivational factors that kind of got me where I was athletically, which we can kind of talk about that a little later. Applying those factors to actually motivate each patient that I see, patient and client, to achieve whatever their goals may be. So that's really the primary reason why why I try to help people, because I'm just trying to help them achieve whatever their goals may be.
And that's something we don't think about. Well, yeah, we do. We just don't think about it in those terms. I was about to say that's something we don't think about goals, but we just see it as we want pain relief immediately, or some kind of relief. So I guess it is a goal. Right. I just never heard it termed like that. You just say, well, what do you want?
Yeah. That's one of the primary questions I ask in the first session, the initial evaluation, which I probably told you that's by far the most important session. I fully anticipate when I see someone for the first time, whether the sessions are they're gonna be requiring 3 or 4 sessions, or they're gonna require more like excess of 10 or so. And my primary goal is not to see you as many times as possible. And that, contrary to popular belief in our industry, my overall goal is to just get you better and to the point of your satisfaction as quickly as possible. So So it's bittersweet, when like, oh, I don't see Zelda anymore. But at the same time, it means Zelda's gone on to a happier place.
Hey, you gave me what I needed to do. And I was like, oh, I hate it with a passion, but it works. But it works.
Right.
That's my point. I was like, oh my goodness. Why did my other therapist didn't give me this? Well, number one, she's gone. She had a baby, so I had to come get a new one. And number one, you're a doctor. She was a therapist. You are a doctor of therapists. That is the difference, because you know things that other clinicians don't know. So I want to thank you for paying attention in school and getting good grades and becoming the doctor that you are.
Thank you.
Was there any health challenges in your life coming up that made you want to become a doctor? So what made you pursue that interest? What was your life like as a child?
I definitely had some challenge. Well, as a child, my life as a child. So I was a middle child. I guess I can say I was a true Gemini. So I was a bit of a class clown on one side. Like, I was always about telling jokes and being a little goofy in class. But at the same time, on the other side, I was basically the top performing student all the way through 8th grade. So in some ways, the teachers didn't really know what to do with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I was motivated. I had it. Sorry?
You were good and goofy.
I was good and goofy. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it was a little bit of like, in retrospect, a little bit of like attention seeking tendencies. A lot of people of color, young Black males have some of that in their system, but at the same time, I was grounded and solid with a solid goal in mind. Like, like I would not be able to settle for less than academic excellence at that point in time. Absolutely.
Well, I'm so glad that you had whatever the experiences were that you had as a child, because it gave you the foundation in which you needed to build and able to be able to help others. And I find that a lot. Like with Dr. J, the office that you're working out of. Kudos to Dr. J. And with
kudos to Dr. J. Yeah.
Because had I not been going to see him, a chiropractor, I never would have had the experience of seeing you. And the last time that I came, that I was in so much pain, he gave me an exercise to do. But he says, you really need to see Dr. O. I was like, Dr. O? Who's Dr. O? And he said, he's another doctor here who's a physicist or
physiotherapist. Yeah.
Physiotherapist. Mm-hmm. Write that word down so I'll keep getting that right. Physiotherapist. And my first experience was with you. I was in so much pain, and you put me on it's not the couch, with the bench or whatever it's called. And you stretched this right hip like it had never been stretched before in life. And it felt so good. I was like, wow, how come I don't know to do that stretch? And you said, well, you will know, because you're here now and I'm going to give it to you. You go home and do it. I was like, oh my goodness. That was an experience. So at that moment, I'm thinking to myself, he doesn't know, but he's going to be on the show, because everybody needs to feel the way that I feel right now. So they need to know who Dr. O is and what he does. How is it that we as a people, I mean, all human beings who have issues, but we're afraid to share them. Have you ever had that experience? Somebody come to the doctor and they say, well, this is what's wrong with me, but there's something else going on. Have you ever had that experience?
I'll say that sometimes people's injury history can be very cloudy and lengthy. Oftentimes people come in knowing that something's not quite right, or they may know that they've been seen by other providers who may have sent them down one rabbit hole in thinking that, oh, this issue here that I have is something that can't be corrected. Or so it kind of facilitates a sense of a bit of like hopelessness. Oftentimes you may find that an individual may opt for medications for their solution, when really, the best medication is exercise, depending on what if it's a musculoskeletal kind of condition. If we were to, one of our professors used to always say, like, if you could bottle up exercise, like all of the benefits that you can achieve just through exercise, just a well-structured, tailored program, it would be more potent than any single drug.
Wow.
It's really true. Yeah.
I believe that because after I had my accident, which is God's way of remaining anonymous, it's an incident. It's a lesson that came to teach me many things that I did not want to learn, but I did, and I'm still learning. It comes to you, there comes a point in life, and it's like, you know what? I really need to pay attention to my body because we neglect this body, especially America. We are lazy as the day is long. Because we've got all this technology and we let the technology do the work and our bodies are still. And the couch potato has become the norm. And then we want to run out, it's getting warm. We want to go run and jog, and you want to run and you haven't walked in weeks or months or almost a year. I know that makes a shock to the system some kind of way and kind of explain that whole process to us.
So when I think about really exercise, or really activity in general, it's pretty, even though there's some complex factors going on and with all the different systems within the body, overall, we just kind of ascribe to what they call SAID principle, SAID. So there's going to be specific adaptations to the imposed demands placed on the body. So the human body is comprised of several different like plastic systems, like meaning that they're susceptible to change. If they're susceptible to change over time, then they're susceptible to both improvements for the better or debilitation and decline over time. Ooh. So basically it's kind of like remember those books that maybe growing up, like choose your journey or choose your adventure or whatever. You very much have it within your power to actually either improve your function or decrease it. So when it comes to exercise, no matter what level a person is at when they come into the office, there exists some exercise interventions that we can provide to them that can better what they're trying to do in some way, shape, or form. So, yeah.
Okay. What I like most about it is that the exercises are simple, but they're so simple that we just kind of take them for granted. It's like something that simple can make you feel better. Oh, okay, I can do that. But when you want to dig deeper,
right,
you dug deeper into this thigh where I had this stretch. I didn't even know my leg could go over like that. 30, 40 years ago it could, but now, at this juncture in my life.
Yeah. So basically in that aspect, like think about it like this, right? I'm imposing a new demand on your hips that they hadn't been exposed to, or they hadn't been required to go into that range, and those muscles hadn't been required to kind of stretch and elongate quite in that way, or relax into that position. So I was imposing that new demand, and then I implemented that into your home exercise program so that you can continue to have that demand. And then after a period of time, you start to notice like, oh wow, this is moving a lot better than it was 3-4 weeks ago. So that's kind of like the general idea there, so you adapt to the new demands that we're placing on the body. If you try to go about and do anything to excess, then you will exceed the capacity for the body to actually recover. And that's when injury can kind of happen. When you think about the people that you're talking about, like couch potatoes and whatnot, think about over time the muscles getting shortened in the hips from just sitting on the couch, like, why am I gonna go out and jog when I can watch my favorite TV show? why am I going to go lift weights when I can do something at home without, without breaking a sweat? But, and that's valid. But at the same time, we only get one human body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, same thing I always tell people, it's like, I can be motivated. I can be as motivated as I possibly can want to actually help get you better. But, my motivation doesn't just automatically transfer over to you by osmosis. Like, I can't do the work for you. Yeah, there's certain things I can do in the office. There's certain things that I can do in the office, like certain techniques, like hands-on. Everybody loves like the hands-on therapy, I noticed. But when it starts to get to, all right, now we need to do 3 sets of 12 of this,
not so much.
Not so much. Not so much.
Because your hands are healing, Dr. O. You have healing hands. I was like, can you do that again? No, baby, it's your turn to get up, come out and do it. Okay. It's like, I hate it, but I know it's going to help. So I do it anyway. And it's like, wow, thank you, Dr. O. I didn't know my body could do the things that it does. So
absolutely.
You are a healer of another kind, and you don't even know it, because when you have knowledge combined with character and wisdom and love and a joy for what you do, it shows up in your work. And I want to thank you for being not one of those doctors where you just come in and you've got the pen and paper out, or now it's the computer. I'm telling lies, right? You've got what do you call it? The Apple book or whatever it is. And you're putting information in, but you're not just sticking to the paper or the electronic device. You're having a conversation, trying to pull information out of me that will help you in your decision on what exercises or movements to give me. I like to use the word. You said movement. I had a therapist. Once, not a therapist. Yeah, she was a colonic therapist. And I'd never heard anyone say this before. She says, we need to sweat daily. Nobody's ever told me that. No, I didn't learn that in school. No doctor has ever told me that. Because when you sweat daily, it helps the body release the poisons. And if you just putting stuff in all day and not sweating anything out, you're going to have some issues like I had.
Yeah.
So I love the, what was the quote you used about, motion is the lotion. I had a lady, and I was at the gym one day. She was in her 80s, and I looked at her, and I knew she was much older. And I asked her, I said, I didn't ask her how. She just told me. She said, well, honey, I'm in my 80s. And I said, you do this every day? She's like, yes. She said, not motion is the lotion. What did she say? Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm having a brain fart. Not motion is the lotion. Oh, a body in motion stays in motion. And I was like, oh, okay. Why do I have to have people who are not in the medical field tell me things like this? But I'm so glad she did, because that thought stayed with me still to this day, until you gave me the one about lotion is the motion.
Yeah.
So explain that for people who might not get that. Lotion is the motion.
So there's certain joints in our body that essentially they require a certain level of lubrication to kind of move optimally, right? And that lubrication is kind of, to put it in layman's terms, that lubrication is released or optimized by basically going in, like doing movement. So exercise is case in point. If you're having stiffness in your knees, you can basically do a series of exercises that involve putting your knee into ranges that it hasn't been, required to go into. And over time, what happens is, that lubrication forms, and, you're able to move through a greater range of motion without as much difficulty. So
I'm so glad you chose the knees because there are so many of us who have knee issues. And I always thought it was because I was heavier than the average girl. I'm a big, full figure girl. And then I have girlfriends who are this big, and I have relatives who are this big, and they all have knee issues too. So that let me know it's not about weight. It may have something to do with it.
Right.
But it's not all about weight because I got a girlfriend this big who can't walk up a flight of stairs. And I was like, what you mean? And, we're walking together. We walk like a mile. And at the second block, she's like, girl, I got to slow down. So it's like, okay, it's not only a knee issue, it's an oxygen issue at this point and some other kind of issue. So the fact that you said knees, because knees is a number one issue. You talked about the range almost, because if we're not walking, we're not using the joints, and that's gonna cause
it's gonna cause a lot of stiffness over time. Like you're gonna just have less and less and less range of motion, and in certain ways. I mean, one of the things I often do during an examination, not only do I see what the range of motion that they have available is, like objectively, like, oh, okay, let's say after like a knee replacement, one of the goals, we try to get the person at least up to about 120 degrees, right? That's like one of the ranges that people tend to know, like 120 degrees of range of motion. But
what does it look like when you say 120 degrees of motion? What does that look like? If you were to use your elbow, I mean, like your wrist.
So let me try something here.
You know what? Oh, it's 8 o'clock. It's time for our first commercial break. So we're going to take this break and give you a minute to find that. And we're going to take some calls. 336-350. We're going to take your call as soon as we come back from the break. So you stay close right here with Dr. Rowe.
Right. I'm gonna bring one of the tools.
Alert and vibrant. Our bodies are made up of cells that are constantly rejuvenating. So if we take proper care of ourselves, we can literally defy aging. Join us every Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time to learn about self-care from Tucson Essentials on the Female Solution Blog Talk Radio Show. Learn how to help your body and yourself feel rejuvenated each day through proper nutrition, sleep, frequency medicine, and many unconventional methods of self-care. I'm Jody Tucson. Join me and my amazing guests by calling in at 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak. We'll help you achieve a breakthrough in your health today. We all say we would like to be wealthy, but wealth isn't determined by how much money you have. Wealth is determined by your power to define what money is. The dictionary defines money as something used as a way to pay for goods and services and to pay people for their work. So how would you like to have access to an unlimited source of money? Money that is not taxed by the government. Money that increases as you share the opportunity with others. Money that you can use to pay for goods and services and pay people for their work. I'm talking about Bitcoin. It's the future of independent wealth building. Bitcoin is the new money that you control. Get started building your wealth. Call 312-849-3456. That's 312-849-3456. You're tuned in to the Soulful Chicago Book Fair 2020 Vision Fundraising Campaign. That's right. You can support the vision of reviving Black literary excellence in the city by simply taking your $20 or more and donating it on our website. Visit www.soulfulchicagobookfair.com and click the Donate tab on our homepage. Or give us a call at 646-359-6605, and we welcome you, helping us breathe literary life into the South Side of Chicago. Hi, I'm Naima Latif,
Join me and my co-host, Kareem Hamid, every Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the Female Solution Radio Show, as we explore that relationship that is the foundation for our society, the relationship between men and women, husbands and wives. Join our discussion as we seek to repair broken family ties and rebuild our community. Listen online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in and comment 515-205-9325. Press 1 to speak to our host. Or you can join us live on Facebook at www.facebook.com/the-female-solution.
Minister Cynthia Marie Williams, spiritual counselor and advisor. I invite you to a private meeting in the areas of business, health, finances, relationships. The introductory cost of $20. Please call because there is a higher power that can help me help you. 312-802-4743. Peace and blessings to you all. Call me. 312-802-4743.
Grand Rising, and thank you for joining us back here on the Female Solution. That was Minister Cynthia Marie Williams, who is in a nursing home at this moment as we speak. She's a sister of the microphone who is having some physical challenges. She's a double amputee, but that doesn't stop her from being the powerful woman that she is. So let us keep her in prayer too, because she's battling the system because she's unable to get to her dialysis 3 times a week, and she was having an issue, so they put her in a nursing home. So let us keep her. And Mama AZ, another one of our regular callers, listeners, excuse me, he's also in a nursing home, and that is to, you don't realize how important your limbs are until you are threatened by those limbs. And when I say threatened, I mean they can't move like they usually move. So you have a demonstration to show us some movement, Dr. O?
Yeah, I was looking for one of my instruments. I can't seem to locate it at this current moment, but in general, as far as knee range of motion, mobility is concerned, you're in a very good place if when you're standing up, you can kick your butt with your heel. If you can get there, then you're in a pretty good space.
Okay.
All things being equal. There may be some limitation. There might be some meat back there that
Never looked at it like that. Yeah, because you did have me kicking myself in the butt. And I was like, what is this all about? I know I got a big butt, but you ain't got to tell everybody. But I get that now. I get that because that knee has to really swing and reach in order to touch your butt. Okay.
Right,
all right. We've got some calls, and we want to get those calls in because I know you all want to speak to Dr. O. 336-350. You're live on the Female Solution. What's your name? Where you're calling from? And what's your question for Dr. O?
Are you there? Can you hear me?
That's Mama AZ. Hey, Mama AZ. Yes, we hear you loud and clear.
Hey, Mama AZ.
Okay. Greetings, family. Greetings, Female Solution. I'm getting chill bumps. Today is an 8. 8 represents being very, very sharp on your mission or why you're here, your vision why you're here, Dr. O. And this is a great day because I'm here in the nursing home and it's a journey. Can you take a plane and fly over here so you can be a part of my team, getting my body back strong, so I can continue to do what I do? What has happened is I've had 4 total hip replacements, and this is the 4th one. And I knew I was in pain because something was greater going on than just the normal stuff that I've been dealing with for all of these years. I'll be 70 pretty soon. But anyway, the hip is totally out, and the cup, the little plastic thing, is kind of disintegrating, and the titanium rod is out, period. So I'm in the rehab, and they're going to be working with me, the PT people. What do you suggest? They kicked me off of Facebook, so I can't see anything to do. Do you have something that I could go up, or Sister Zelda, that I can go up on YouTube and eyeball and share it with my PT people here, because I want to get back to a level. It's going to be 3 months. They're going to have to redesign some kind of mechanism to put me back together again, because part of my bone, pelvic, is not there. There's a lot of deterioration, and it started from alcohol fetal syndrome, people. So please be mindful. Don't drink if you are considering having children. Take care of your body, and please do not consume alcohol when you are pregnant. Mothers, people, please listen to this, because I've been journeying with this all of my life, and I'm not upset about it. I'm very grateful, because I can teach other people. So, Dr. O, what do you suggest to get my pelvic? Because I have hardware on the other side that's had enough, and it's kind of breaking down too. So I got 3 months to prepare. What do you suggest? And can you take a plane and come over here and be a part of the team?
First off, where are you located?
She's in Arizona. What city in Arizona, Mama AZ?
Fort Huachuca, Sierra Vista.
Fort Huachuca, Sierra Vista.
Fort Huachuca, Sierra Vista.
Buffalo Soldier Country.
It's Buffalo Soldier Company. What was the city? You said something else?
It's Fort Huachuca. It's a military spot.
Oh, it's a military spot.
Actually, the home of the Buffalo Soldiers.
Okay. Is that? But what city is that in?
Sierra Vista.
Sierra Vista. I never heard of Sierra Vista until you came on the show. Sierra Vista. Okay.
So I'll say this.
Look up Fort Huachuca, and it's right here.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll say this. I can only, for your case, I can only kind of speak in generalizations for right now, and just say that I think you'd benefit from some core and pelvic stability, like some core and pelvic strengthening and stabilization work, done in a manner that's just kind of starting off very, very, very low intensity, and then just gradually increasing the demands that are placed on it. Do I understand correctly? You said you had 4 total hip replacements, and there was an issue with the hardware because the pelvis, the structure of the pelvis has kind of deteriorated to an extent. Yeah, and I'm assuming that there's gonna be another procedure coming up in the future to kind of remedy to correct the issue that's occurred. Is that correct?
That is correct, but they're not sure. The doctors here in Sierra Vista were not equipped to handle. They didn't have enough knowledge, so they sent me to a hip construction specialist in Tucson, Arizona, and he's now looking at what route he's going to take, because it's extremely complicated.
Wow.
And they don't want to just give me hope. They're not sure. They don't know if this, what they are going to hook up will work. And because I'm going on 70, and what I do outbacking, meaning I'm in the wilderness or in nature, and it's a lot of physical things that I do, like putting medicine wheels together, meaning stones. Some of the stones that I move are like maybe up 200 pounds, but I found a way to do it even in a wheelchair. You see, so yeah. So anyway, I'm bound and determined to get myself back to a point where I can continue to do what I do, because it's very important spiritually and mentally for me to be out in the woods, in the wilderness, and do certain things. And I want to continue that. So I need to have a good regimen to get my body strong to resume. You know what I mean, sir?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would love to correspond with you further perhaps via email, so that so I could kind of get a little bit of a better idea of your journey, and then maybe have a face-to-face on Zoom or something with you to kind of see what areas we can help improve for you.
That would be great. I do not have an email, and they kicked me off of Facebook, and my phone is crazy. But Sister Zelda,
yes, ma'am.
You can connect us, because I would love for the Female Solution and Soul Purpose Healing family to be involved with this part of my journey. It would mean a lot to me.
Okay, Mama AZ, you can count on that. And Mama AZ, I want to remind you, I know that you are a woman of substance, but I got to ask you the question. Are you journaling this experience?
I'm going to start journaling. I have issues with my hands.
Oh.
So when I can get authorization to get my tape recorder, or if somebody can send me a camera,
okay,
and I can journal it on camera, because they won't let me out of here. I've got 3 months that I may be in this facility.
Oh.
In Tucson. And so yes, I'm reaching out to family a camera where I can set up and video this, because I have issues with my hands.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I will definitely connect you all after the show, and just know that you are loved and you are thought of and you are appreciated, and we are praying for you, knowing that this experience, you will come out on the other side and be a much better person for it, especially when you send that message out via what's the word for it? Telecommunications, I can't even say the word. Telepathy. Telepathy. Yeah. We were talking about that yesterday. Yeah. So thank you.
May I say one other thing?
Go ahead.
You can go to the health food store, and they now have this tea called Smooth Move.
Oh, yeah.
Smooth Move is an herbal tea.
Yes.
I suggest that you go and get it, because a lot of us may be on pharmaceuticals, and especially pain medication. It blocks you up.
Yes, it does.
I use Smooth Move, and that helps a lot. And thank you, Dr. Olson and Sister Zelda, for confirming some things. Thank you, Female Solution, Soul Purpose Healing, and thank us, Minister Williams. I love you. Thank us.
All right. Thank you, Mama AZ. We're praying for you. Thank you so much. Mama AZ has been a long time. She was listening to Blog Talk Radio before she knew it existed. She was on, there's a show, we're on 7 days a week. I'm going to go to the phone and take 312-671 in a minute. But I just wanted to mention that we are on 7 days a week. On Tuesday, Cell Care, CELL, Cell Care with Jody Tucson. And on Wednesdays, Naima Latif and Kareem Hamid, Repairing Family Relationships. On Thursdays, it's the Women's Roundtable. On Friday, Health and Wellness with Viata. That's what we were just talking about, Viata Show, which also comes on Sunday night at 7 p.m. And that show is called Soul Purpose Healing. But her show on Friday, Health and Well-Being with Viata, is at 7 till 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Now, let's not forget about our weekend hosts. We're not on the air on the weekend at 7 a.m. in the morning. We are on at 12 noon until 2 p.m. So the first Saturday is Nonviolent Communication with Jana. She's our European correspondent. She's in Europe. She's not European. She's in Europe. She's in London, England. On the second Saturday is the Black Taboo with Love, Joy, and Powers. And the third Saturday, Travel with Deborah. We have our own travel agent. And our fourth Saturday, just this past Saturday, was Wisdom with Mama D. And on Sunday, I just told you Soul Purpose Healing with Viata. And on Monday Morning Mindfulness. And we're right back here, ready to go to the phone lines. 312-671. You are live on the Female Solution Grand Rising. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your question for Dr. O?
Good morning.
Thank you.
Minister Robert Floyd Plump.
Minister Robert Floyd Plump. What's your question for Dr. O as it relates to your health this morning?
Right. Well, thank you, Dr. O, for being on. I'm one of the students, too, of the Female Solution. And, thank you for teaching us, training us on our health with our wealth. I think that's one of the most important parts of our life each and every day.
Okay, but do you have a question? Do you have a question for Dr. O? Do you have a question for Dr. O?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the question?
Is he in Chicago?
Yes, he is in Chicago. Yes.
Oh, well, that sounds fantastic. That was my number one question. We wanted to invite him to our session, which was a PMA session, and
did we lose it? Okay. You want to join the conversation? 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. Go ahead. You were speaking, Dr. O.
I was just making sense of what
Mama AZ.
Yeah. I mean, so Mama AZ, the plan of action. With each of these individuals that call in, we want to kind of set up a plan of action, whether it's like a subsequent call or Zoom or communication via email. But you said you'll patch us in together.
Yeah.
So that I can, that's that one. And then this gentleman, I couldn't really hear what he was saying. It sounded like he was saying he was trying to invite me to something.
Yeah, he got disconnected. He's a regular call. He's always calling and inviting us to something. So maybe he'll call back. But I want to get back to the question of, or the situation of how our lack of movement during these times can cause us problems as we begin to move about.
Absolutely. So we were talking about how the body is the systems are basically plastic, meaning susceptible to change in one way, for the better or the worse, right? So that includes bones, includes muscles. If you're not exercising, if you're not moving around, let's say you're bedridden for 2 months, 3 months, your bone density undoubtedly is going to decrease, right?
Right.
It's the same way if you gradually load your spine, load your joints, load your bones over a period of time, you'll notice that your bone density, if you were to go to your doctor and have the scans performed, your bone density is going to tend to increase. The same thing applies for muscle. If you don't work out, if you don't do anything physical for a long period of time, your lean muscle mass, your muscle overall will actually become not only weaker, the cross-sectional area of the muscle will decrease. overall, just bad things happen when you're not physically active. Good things happen when you are physically active, all things being equal. Okay. It applies to like pretty much every system throughout the body.
I noticed you said the word system because we don't think of the body as a system. And systems will begin to, they can either help us or hinder us if you haven't been consistent with your system and as far as movement is concerned. What are some of the things that you can do in the beginning, especially if you may have a few health challenges that you can begin to do that will help you move forward and not become a weekend warrior and hurt yourself immediately after being a couch potato for so long?
I would say that's a little bit complicated because it depends on if this person has a lot of comorbidities, like if they happen to have, high blood pressure, diabetes, morbid obesity, cancer. There's a lot of different considerations that cannot be ignored there. But in general, you can kind of start off by consulting with the healthcare provider. If you have a primary care physician or other healthcare provider, just to kind of get a generalized screen to just kind of figure out what your issues may be and what your limitations may be that kind of prevent you from actually safely going through an exercise program. Some people have balance issues. I can't necessarily make a sweeping generalization about what people ought to do, because there's we're talking systems, right? Let's use balance, for example. There's a lot of different reasons why somebody may develop balance issues as they age, right? One individual may have balance issues. They say, "Hey, doctor, I'm struggling with my balance." Well, I can't see anything. Okay, so they're dealing with like maybe early stages of blindness, whereas another person may struggle with balance because, well, they may have diabetic neuropathy. So like they're lost a certain amount of sensation in their feet, right? Another individual may struggle with balance because they've been bedridden for such a long time that when they finally are able to actually get up and try to start moving around, their leg muscles are so weak and their core is so weak that they can barely kind of hold the weight of their body, right? So so there's a lot of different ways in which balance issues even can be reflected within the system, right? Other individuals, they may have a vestibular condition where they're, every time they try to stand up, they start experiencing dizziness and vertigo, whatever the case may be. So we have to kind of be able to figure out where these issues are coming from, and part of that takes active listening about what the actual patient's issues are and kind of go from there. But I will say in general, what one good thing to kind of aspire towards to actually increase the likelihood of overall wellness, the ACSM, so which is the Sports Medicine Academy and whatnot, there's guidelines for all healthy adults between the ages of 18 and 65 participating in like moderate intensity aerobic activity for a minimum of about 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week. So basically 150 minutes per week of generalized aerobic conditioning will tend to put you in a better place than you are at present. And then also getting about at least 20 or 30 minutes of resistance training, lifting, whatever, calisthenics, 3 days a week. So that's like a pretty good generalization of the amount of physical activity that a person should go with, right?
Okay. You said aerobics, and for those of us who are not big on aerobics, like we big girls with big bones, my experience has let me get this right. My experience is that my form of yoga is better for me than aerobics. because before I started taking aerobics, before I started taking yoga, I thought yoga was not as hard as on the body as aerobics is, because you're jumping out and all this movement. Yoga is not for punks. You can get your heartbeat up as fast doing yoga as you can aerobics. So that's one of the things that I've learned in my physical movement challenges, is that, and it doesn't always have to be the correct and as long postures as some people do, because as we age, our joints may not move as well as the young people's joint. So I've just found that yoga has been a better experience for me than aerobics. But and I should say that aerobics is included in that movement. So
right, I was exactly about to preface that essentially you're not saying anything necessarily that doesn't coincide with anything that I've said. It's, basically when I'm saying aerobic physical activity, that's basically, it entails a wide gamut of activities that we're just looking at, okay, is it bringing your heart rate up into a zone that's going to be beneficial overall, or are you basically working out without really getting much of a heart rate increase? So that's how we train the cardiovascular system. That's just one of the systems that we work on. So yeah, absolutely.
That just shows my limited thinking, because I've been conditioned all my life to think aerobics means jumping, and it does not mean that. It means your heart rate up. So thank you for clarification. Right. No, I'm not the only one that thinks that way, because if you've been thinking that way, you were taught that way, you don't know anything else. That's how you think. That's what you do. Right. Like one of the things that you said, you talk about when a patient comes to see you, you participate in active listening. I've never heard a doctor say that before. Can you explain that?
Well, one of the things that as clinicians we try to do is minimize instances of bias, right? And I'm sure when you go into doctors' offices, you go to your different visits and whatnot. Sometimes I'm sure there's some listeners who may have experienced where, like, oh man, my doctor's not really listening to what I'm actually, like, my concern.
All the time, except you and Dr. J. All the time.
Yeah. So, it's very important to actually, from a clinical perspective, like, figure out, well, what is the most salient, like, what is the most meaningful thing that you can do to actually improve this person's circumstances. So I'm sure that I probably asked you that first day, well, not only like, what are your goals, but if we can, even in subsequent sessions, like if there's one thing that we can achieve to make you feel, to either put a smile on your face or make you feel as though everything has been so worthwhile, what would that be? Like, let's set a goal today. Like, what are the low-hanging fruits that we can achieve today? And if you basically are always kind of grabbing the low-hanging fruits overall, even if you don't get the full 100% recovery, you've gotten enough done to where the person actually feels as though you've made tangible differences in their life. So let's say somebody who wants to be able to return, they have ambitions of being able to, resume dancing and things of that nature. But right now they can't even do a squat. They can't, they can barely walk a block. And, even if you're not able to get them to do the dancing that they want to be able to do, maybe they never even had rhythm, who knows? But like, the fact of the matter is, you're able to get them to, walk a block without pain, do squats again without pain. That's all tangible stuff that, and a lot of it kind of requires like actively listening to what the person specifically is trying to do. So I try to get the low hanging fruit first. It maximizes buy-in. It gets people sold that, no, this guy is the real deal here. Let me just kind of work with this and continue to progress, and we can kind of get this final goal out the way.
I'm so glad you said that. Do you remember what my goal was when I first came there? I know you do.
I have to go back into the notes to
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you, mine was to be pain free.
To be pain free,
This
right?
hip was giving me the blues, and I discovered that it wasn't a hip issue. The hip is just the result of the issue. It was my quads because I would walk, but afterwards I did not stretch. And I did not know. Well, I knew, but you don't kind of keep it in the back of your mind. It's like, okay, you can go in here and do all this work, but if you don't stretch, what was the point? Yeah, I discovered. And then that exercise, not exercise, that movement, that strengthening movement that you gave me for my knee and for the quad, and where my husband had to hold my knee behind me. I was like,
mobilization.
wow. Oh, I didn't forget about that.
Yeah, I believe you're referring to mobilization rather than a strengthening. It's a mobilization. So one of the things that I like to do, because I'm not trying to necessarily work with people for forever, not nowhere near that. So one thing I like to do is a little bit of like either caregiver or loved one type of education. So teaching someone who's going to be in your presence like for a lifetime how to actually perform a movement that's beneficial to your specific needs, right?
Yes.
If you have a knee issue, I'll show a little bit of thing here. If you have like a lower back issue, I may show like a partner stretch, or maybe your husband or wife or whatever the case may be can assist you in that, so you can kind of strengthen your bond by kind of implementing some stuff that I might have showed you at one point. Yeah,
that was powerful, and I want to thank you for that, because it just made the difference in night and day in my life. You have no idea. Well, you do, but the average person doesn't have an idea of what that feels like when you just can't get up and walk because you're in pain. But a lot of my fellow Bid Whist family, shout out to my Bid Whist family. I'll see y'all tomorrow. It's gonna be 80 degrees outside. We're gonna play some Bid Whist. My Friday night rollers in Glenwood. Many of us who can no longer skate, many of them still do skate, but then there's a portion of us who can't skate for whatever reason, health challenges. And I'm so glad that you are on here today, because some of them can hear you and learn from this. And we're going to learn more, but right now it's 8:36. We need to take our last commercial break. So you stay right close. You want to call in 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. We'll be right back.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Healthy culture, world peace, and restoration of life transcend culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. Each community now is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I'm Director Kim of HWPR Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com.
With the Place of Peace pop-up from Tucson Essentials, we're able to increase productivity, mental acuity, leaving you with higher energy and peace in just 20 minutes. We pop up at our office or yours.
Finances, family, health, job, relationships. Are you in pain? You're stuck. If you answer yes to any of these questions, that's a good one. Generally, it's part of the human process. We feel this way because we haven't mastered the voices in your head. No hype, just down to earth, solid, simple, tools and techniques that you can practice daily. It's really food for the soul. Whether you want to learn how not to worry about anything, reverse type 2 diabetes, reverse stress, promote your product or service, or just make extra money. Take advantage of the deal of the day. Go to wellnesspeaks.com or call 212-409-6619. Mention promo code FEMAL Solution and get free shipping. That's wellnesspeaks.com or
Beata, your holistic life coach. These days, it's more important than ever to work on your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you consciously breathing deeply in stressful moments? Do you have a plan or daily routine to maintain balance in your awesome body? Are you struggling to be disciplined in your eating habits? When you partner with me, I'll help you develop a personalized health plan that works for your particular lifestyle. You can find out more about me at yourholisticlifecoach.com, where you can also review my 3-step protocol to guide you to abundant health. That's yourholisticlifecoach.com, and I'm Beata.
And thank you for joining us back here on The Female Solution. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness. And my guest today, spring cleaning body tune-up with tips with Dr. O, Wicker Park Chiro and Physio PR. We're going to go to the phone lines. But before we do, what does Physio PR mean, Dr. O?
So so I'm assuming you mean the PR portion.
Yes.
One of the things about me. So I ran track at a pretty high level in college, and then a little bit post collegiately. So I was very big on like setting PRs, which is like, you know, personal record, basically like a personal best, personal you know, best, you know, performance overall. So I kind of use it as a little bit of a double meaning. So like PR meaning like personal record, like achieving the pinnacle of your own, because it's not about competing against other people. We're looking to unlock the best you possible, the best you that you're willing to try to get. So there's the personal record, then there's also, you know, like the performance and recovery or you know, rehabilitation, that kind of space. So
I'm so glad you said that. No competition, because I had to learn that the hard way. I'm at the gym one day. I'm on the floor doing my stretching, and I'd done my yoga, my form of yoga, which works real good for my body. And I see this 21-year-old, I'm guessing 19, 20, 21, and she's doing a stretch that I used to do, that I forgot to do, that I forgot that I could no longer do. I did it.
Right.
Went to get up off the floor. I couldn't get up off the floor. So I learned there is no competition.
Right.
Me and anybody else do what's comfortable for my body. You did your thing. You get up and go walk. Now you're looking at this little young girl over here trying to do some things that you used to do, and now you can't walk it off. That's my story.
Right. Yeah. So basically, if you're next to somebody who's, you know, you're at level 1 on something and they're at level 9,
right?
It's better for you to focus on that level 1 and build up, rather than trying to attempt to do level 9, or be, you know what, let me do level 10 to outdo her. You know?
Yes.
Because most assuredly, injury typically results in those types of issues, in those types of situations, when you just try to jump all the way up to level 9, level 10. It's humbling to scale back. Like, oh, I feel like I can do level 5, level 6. No, scale back. You know, because even if your muscles may be able to work in that capacity, remember, you still have your joints, your ligaments, your tendons. You want to let all those things kind of run their course and build up appropriately, rather than just jumping into what you feel like you're strong enough to do.
Right. Yeah. There's a saying, my mind is willing, but my body ain't able. I remember that. Let's go to the phone lines and get some of these questions. 407-701 will come to you next. But right now, we're going to 706-202, Grand Rising. You are live on The Female Solution. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your question for Dr. O?
Grand Rising. My name is Kwame Sunworth, and I'm calling you from southern land of the Muskogee Creek down here in Eatonton, Georgia.
In Georgia, Grand Rising. Thank you for calling.
Georgia, thank you for being here, and thank the doctor for an excellent presentation that he's giving us.
Amen.
And it was a question that you asked him, and it's part of either your list those things in which you tell them that's going on in your body that you feel. And so it's understanding how we communicate, because you can listen to a person, but if you learn to feel a person and what they're sharing with you, it's something like what we do as a recovery coach to tell a person to learn to mind map. Take one word that causes you to react, and then see how many other trigger words that go with that one word, and you'll begin to see how you have created your neural net and being able to send messages through your body, because you can listen to a record that makes you, oh, that's a nice beat, but then you can listen to some songs and it makes you feel a certain way, because there is energy in our words, and how we utilize those words help to begin to show how our body will react to certain suggestions. When he was talking about the PR, personal reward, you have these things in which you do with yourself that gives you those rewarding feelings. You feel the adrenaline, you feel you can do. But then there are other times in which they're recovery, because you have to recover from thinking that, oh yeah, I can do that. I can get up now. We see ourselves, and we have to understand that as we age, we've been using these vessels for 70 plus years for myself, and you know that you can't use this vessel in the way I did when I was 20.
Okay.
Because I've used it for 50 years.
Right.
But it's understanding the communication and what you feel. You said about feeling, but you have it in your head. Because we have many file cabinets in our head. So the thing is being in his position to help the physical. And, he was sharing about him being a track runner. There's certain energies that you have in running that you get in there, you hit that wall and you make it through. And you can use that same energy to hit that wall and make an accomplishment in your life. It's learning how to feel those things in which you organize in your mind. So I thank him for giving the insight, because, we talk about the Overground Railroad, feeling that Mama AZ Earth, the Earth has an energy which awakens us into healing. It helps us to heal, because the Creator made this earth with certain energy and minerals and things in it that helps us to recover and makes the body more in tune. Running on asphalt and concrete, you have to have certain shoes they design. But you run on glass and earth, you can run better.
Yes, you can.
But because the impact that you do, the earth absorbs your energy, whereas the concrete and asphalt repels it back up and causes the damage that happens from runners. Anyway, that was my part, and I thank the brother for the mission that he's chosen to take in and helping people to get the body and mind and the spirit, because when you get the spirit, the mind, and the body is the last part. As we were a spirit, then we had a brain to organize and connect to all the other brains in the body and the muscles and ligaments and all of that. So it's learning to have order in the person. That's fine.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brother Kwame Sunhorse from Georgia. He always calls in and shares his wisdom. Did you want to comment before we take another call, Dr. Rowe?
Thank you so much for your contribution there. You dropping some knowledge of your own, my man. beautiful, inspirational to hear.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go to the phone lines. 407-701 Grand Rising. You're live on the Female Solution. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness Spring Cleaning with Dr. O. What's your question for Dr. O? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Grand Rising. This is your sister in Altamont Springs, Florida.
Yes.
First of all, let me say, Dr. O, you are one fine man, and you remind me of my son. And Rosa would know she met him at the Discovery Cove.
Sure does.
He looks so much like my youngest son. But I've been just admiring you the last hour or so, and I said, okay, I got to call in. But I hate to leave the visual because your smile is so powerful and so energizing.
Oh, thank you.
Smile, brother. You are like putting out so much energy. I just want you to know that. So you just got, especially these days when people are covering up their smiles, your smile is like electric. So I've just been enjoying looking at you for the last hour.
You're far too kind.
Healing. And I had like two questions. One, your name. I've been looking at your name like, where is that name? What does that mean? So can you tell us a little bit about your name, why your parents gave you that name, and what nationality it is?
Oh yeah, so we spoke about that at the very beginning of the show, my
sorry.
Yeah, so my name means Eli Shegun. So Shegun means God is victorious in Yoruba. So it's like a language in Nigeria. And yeah, so my father's Nigerian, my mother's African American, and we just kind of talked about like having a name that didn't really have any lineage in like the slave trade and whatnot, like didn't have like Mass's name and all that kind of stuff. So that's basically where my name came from, just from Nigeria.
He's from. I did that with my two sons. I had a book of African names, and their names are Hanis and Jabri, and I had no idea that they were also Muslim names. So now that they're older, they get a lot of mail from Muslim communities.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Muslim, but they were raised Christians. My other question for you is, have you noticed in your practice over the last year how the stress has affected people's bodies in your particular area? I was thinking about joints or maybe headache. Stress is general. But what have you noticed over the year that particularly points to the type of stress that we've all been going through with this pandemic?
I think a lot of people. One thing I noticed, a lot of people gained unwanted weight. People became less physically active. There's definitely been a mental toll for sure for a lot of people. Also posturally, I'm seeing a lot more people coming in with what we call kyphotic posture, kind of rounded shoulders, forward head posture. So those are some of the areas. And then obviously when it comes to like postural changes, you're more likely to develop certain types of headaches when your posture gets rounded and whatnot. So I'm seeing a lot more of those types of things, more so than anything. But yeah.
Do you have a chance to advise them on nutrition and the diet and that type of thing?
I mean, I work with people with weight loss. I mean, I put together kind of programs for strength and conditioning for people just to people who really have no foundational experience with lifting. So yeah, I'll put together programs for overall, but I'm not a nutritionist. So I will utilize other disciplines as well for some of their expertise as it pertains to that. I can try to serve as a motivator as well, but there's also behavioral specialists that specialize in addressing some of the underlying reasons why a person chooses to do something or not do something. So but I try to be well-rounded in the approach, and one of the biggest things as a healthcare provider in like the wellness space is just knowing that no one person can be a universal resource unto themselves. So I try to make sure to just at least be familiar with the things that I know, the things that I know that I don't know, and finding the proper network or developing the proper network of individuals that can help to kind of bridge that gap there.
Well, I know that you sound like you really do have active listening. So keep up the good work. You are just such a treasure for all of us to hear from and see, especially today.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom, and keep up the good work. If I were in Chicago, I'd definitely come see you just to see your smile and feel your touch.
He got the touch, baby. Let me tell you, he got the touch. His right hip. I don't have to do the higher learning hip roll no more. All right. Thank you, Viata. Greatly appreciate that. And if people come out, they want to come visit you, they need to know how to contact you, Dr. O.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so I started the company Physio PR fairly recently. I have a Facebook page, Physio PR. I think you just type in Physio PR Fit. I have a website, www.physiopr.com. Instagram, we're working on it, and email address is info@physiopr.com. PHYSIOPR.com.
I am going to your website on the page right now. Oh, yeah. And I see you there, physiopr.com. Oh, that's a lovely site. Oh, yeah. And you can schedule it online.
Yeah. We're still setting up some things with it and whatnot, but at least wanted to kind of have somewhat of a web presence. I'm sure you know how it is starting out.
Oh yeah, it takes a minute, but that's a very lovely site, and I'm going to go to Facebook as well. And for those of us who are old-fashioned, we have a lot of seniors who watch this program too, and they're just not, what's the word, technologically savvy. Do you have a number where they can call you as well?
Yeah, 773-599-2587.
And where are you located? 773-559-2587. Let me put that in the contact info.
No, sorry.
Lord have mercy. Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me go through them. Oh, we got a ton of messages here that I haven't even been looking at. I was so busy talking. Viata, who just hung up the phone, our Friday night and Friday morning and Saturday night host, says, Grand Rising, love seeing your guest big smile and his knowledge is very welcome. And Jody Toussaint says, listen to your body. That's why she also says, take it low and slow. And always, Jody says, start with meditation. Yes, we do. There is some more. Viata says that's the new way of scheduling online. Yeah, everything's online now. But once again, I do want to put that information in. Any closing comments that you want to give, Dr. Earl? I'm putting your information in the chat box.
I think the number. I think the number I told you was 599-2587. Okay, just making sure.
Dr. O, 773-599-2587. So on a closing note, what would you like to say to our listening audience?
So I would say that it's never too late to change your circumstances. That's one pivotal thing. Provided we can kind of come up with a plan for what your goals are, we can, chip away at it one bite at a time, and trust the process, and progress doesn't come overnight. It comes through consistency. So those will be my main words of wisdom there.
All righty. Well, thank you so very, very, very much for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom with us this morning. You hear the background playing in the background. That's just our closing information there. But if you want to contact Dr. O, the information is right there, 773-599-2587. You can call him because he got me up and walking and stretching. And stretch parts of my body I didn't even know I could still stretch. So thank you, Dr. O.
Thank you very much.
Hercules. Yes. Dr. O is the man. If you want to experience that great big smile and all that love and energy, and have that love and energy transform your body from an achy, shaky old body to a body that moves and flows smoothly, give Dr. O a call. Thank you so much, Dr. O. We certainly appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
And before you go, I want everybody to see this funny video. This is I just gotta add this to it. This is so funny.
My life was perfect till he died. I'd wake up in the morning, smiles on my face, waiting for another day. I was so happy. And then it all went black. My life, every day is hell. Sometimes I wish I was dead myself. Why did you die? Why did you die?
Who was he, Bud?
My wife's first husband.
That's funny or what? I just had to leave notes on it with a laugh. That was hilarious. I just had to share that with you. I'm glad y'all enjoyed that. For our listeners who couldn't see that, you need to press 1 right now if you want to speak, because we're in the after show right now. Otherwise, won't be able to speak. But thank you, Dr. O. We greatly appreciate you. Oh, and on the screen with us is Dr. Naima Latif, who is our
nice to meet you.
Executive producer of the Female Solution. We now do what's called the after show, where she comes on and speaks. I just wanted you all to get a chance to see each other.
Oh, wonderful.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Billy.
That's
hi in Yoruba. We were practicing our language yesterday. Our hosts are learning 20 languages so we can speak to our global audience.
Oh, wow.
Around the world, yes.
Yeah, you couldn't hear the ending. It was going off because we were talking, but when the after show goes off at 9:30, we'll play it again so those who didn't hear it can hear it. But we want to thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule and blessing us with your presence and with your knowledge and with your energy, because you got good energy. And thank you for sharing your energy. Namaste.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Come on. Love hair grease. How about that one?
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. O. Oh, that is too funny. Okay, where's my screen? Okay, there we go. You feel free to stay on, Dr. O, if you want to.
Oh, okay. Do people have more questions for me, or?
Well, since you're on, I got a question for you.
Wonderful.
Oh, okay.
A couple of years ago, because I used to be very supple and, very mobile. And then it's like suddenly my knees stopped working and they got stiff. And, I eat a healthy diet. Now, my daughter says because I sit at a computer all day and I should get up and stretch. And because they only bend, you're talking about kicking your behind. I used to be able to do that. And now my knees won't bend as far. And what is that? And how do I fix that? Is there an exercise I can do to get the joints to work again?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that there's just necessarily one exercise only. There's a kind of like how I use the example of balance that I referred to. It's very in a similar manner. There's a couple different things that can play a role. It can be the muscles on the front. It could be the muscles on the front, maybe restricted and maybe too tight. It could be the knee joint itself, like what they call the patellofemoral joint.
Yeah.
Like the kneecap. The kneecap should be able to slide to the left, to the right, up and down when the knee is relatively locked out. If you're missing one of those movement qualities, then it's going to be manifest in a limitation in your overall ability to move your knee in a pain-free manner. So we have to kind of so I can give you generalizations, but I have to pretty much have hands-on to really know for sure what the most likely culprit of how to come up with the solution for you. But I'll say in general, we always want to strengthen and keep mobile the joints above and below the area of restriction as well. And, so get the muscles stretched, get your hips stronger, make sure your ankles are moving a little bit better. Zelda, you remember we talked about this, so if you have a permanent fixation due to like a prior surgery, or you maybe have screws or fusion somewhere, that can cause changes that we can't necessarily reverse, but we can accommodate. We can accommodate those things into the overall plan. So one of my things, like, yeah, one of my roles is to motivate, but at the same time, I have to also keep things realistic for depending on what the person has going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, but there's certainly some stretches I can shoot over to you, some stretches and a couple exercises, but like without any true knowledge of what your current level of function is, it's a little bit hard for me to exactly give you what you need.
We'll definitely talk because my goal is to reverse the aging process, and so.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, I'm all for it. Like, yeah, it's kind of like, they say Father Time is undefeated, right? Like Father Time catches everyone, but I'm a firm believer you can give it a little stiff arm for a couple years.
Yeah.
And it also helps Dr. O that she's a vegetarian.
Yes. So
wonderful.
Because she has more energy than anybody on the planet that I know. And remember when I told you about my girlfriend that was this big who can't walk 2 blocks? Who's skinny? So I'm very glad that Naima came on, because she's a tall, thin lady. And the fact that she has issues with her knees and she's not overweight lets me know that it's not about weight.
Yeah.
It's about movement, mobility.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not, it's like weight. It's like weight can play a role, but oftentimes, so I used to work in a setting where I was doing physical therapy and weight loss concurrently. And oftentimes I was realizing that, it's not just the weight at all. Like the weight plays a role for some people to some extent, but you can never be short-sighted. Like when you start to bias the overall situation just off of like physical appearance, it's very easy to say, oh yeah, you have knee pain because you're 450 pounds and but really, you have to really do the work of assessing the joints, like I mentioned to you, like checking the kneecap to see what's going on. Oh, like is it pain that's limiting your ability to go out and willingness to go out and walk and do different things? Because if pain is a limiting factor, we have to address the pain. If we don't address the pain, then we're not really going to get very far, because that's something that's a limiting factor for you. So either we do some pain education, or we do some actual interventions that will modify the pain levels.
So pain is a sign for something is wrong if you feel pain, right?
Yeah, pain is generally a sign that something is awry, right? So one of the things we do is like provide an appropriate level of education to the individual that lets them understand, like, okay, well, this much pain is okay, or this much pain is not okay, or just kind of like when we put together exercise programs for people. It's like for people who maybe have never lifted a day in their life, and they're like, oh my God, like I did this workout and like, oh, I don't want to come back. I'm just hurting. And it's like the lack of understanding of like, oh, okay, this is called like delay onset muscle soreness. This is normal. Like if anyone who goes into the gym, whatever their age group, they'll notice some residual discomfort the next day, usually, especially as they start to gradually work their way towards conditioning their body. So it's important to kind of apply the appropriate level of patient education to help them understand that that there's a difference between pain that's like the familiar pain that brought you in to see me in the first place, versus the aches and pains of kind of getting the kinks out and getting the body adjusted to the higher level of demands that are being placed on it.
Yes. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to living pain-free. I think the way we were raised, the idea is that at a certain point in life, your body's going to break down, and so you're going to need a whole bunch of pain medications, and just how you live. You get
right.
70, just expect it. So, we had to, I guess, change the thinking of people. Just like I thought, okay, with a certain age, all your teeth fall out and you buy dentures because that's. So now I'm learning, oh, you can keep your teeth.
Right.
You know, those are the things we have to change thinking so that people know that there are certain things they can do and their bodies can stay young and, you know, vibrant.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I think I'm gonna do, Zelda, with the guests that you've had and Viana's had and Jody's had. I'm gonna create a page on our website where we have like recommended holistic healing kind of people, and people can watch these shows and they can contact the guests that, you know, that we've had and get the alternative kinds of health that we've been promoting all the time. You know, health care, not sick care, and healing as opposed to just treating the symptoms. So, you know, we'll get a chance to develop just a whole directory of people and then have them be able to watch these shows. And we certainly thank you for willingly sharing all your knowledge. I'm just so impressed and hopeful that everything that is starting to malfunction, I can correct. So.
That's a good word for it, malfunction. We just had a malfunction too, but nobody saw it but me. So thank God for that. But you know, one of the things that I did forget to do in the 9 o'clock show was to announce our winner of the Global Virtual Teen Talent Contest. Dr. O, we have a monthly contest of youth ages 13 to 19. And they come on and they sing and they dance and they do spoken word, they rap, poetry, all different kind of things. And we have a winner of round 5. And that winner is Zaya Janae.
Wow.
Chicago, finally.
Wow, we got a Chicago winner.
I'll find her picture in a minute, actually her video, her audition, so you can see it. And also we finally got another person from Chicago. Her name is Amber Murdoch, and she's from the West Side. So congratulations to those two ladies. They won prizes, cash. What's the word I'm looking for, Naima? What's the coin thing? Bitcoin.
Oh, Bitcoin. Oh,
some Bitcoin. And we found a new resource for them. It's called worldofmoney.org. We're giving them a free membership to worldofmoney.org. It costs, it's $99 a year. But what they teach, it's an online course that they teach about money, how it works, which we were never taught. We didn't even talk about money when I was coming up. But more importantly, it talks about hedge funds. How many of our children know about hedge funds? Hedge funds. That's for the fortunate few. So that's one of the things that we offer. And so we always tell people, if you are interested in being a contributor in some small way, to come out and support them online by just voting, or if you'd like to make a donation to the higherlearningnetwork.org, you can always do that. But I just want to say congratulations to Zia Janae, who was a combination, who wrote her own songs, who was a combination of, I say, India Arie, Michelle Indicello, and Erykah Badu.
Wow.
Yeah, she a bad mamma jamma. I'm gonna find this video while y'all talking.
Yes.
And also Amber Murdoch, who is, she was real creative. Her first video she sent in was black and white. And the second one was color. Okay. But I also want to say a special thank you to all the participants who sent their videos, and you can still keep sending those videos into HLN TV show, a 1 minute YouTube video. Make it on YouTube and send us the link, and we'll look at the audition tape. But there was a young man by the name of Martin Kama, Martin Kama. Guess who he sound like? Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
Harry Connick Jr. and Michael Bublé. Everybody knows who they are. This young soul, he is going places. And also there was a young lady who was our first contestant, Capri Everett, a young Mariah Carey in the making.
Wow.
Yes. These little
discovering talent. Wow.
Yes. They are awesome. So if you want to get that information in, you want to be the on the contest, information is scrolling right there on the screen. So you be sure and share that, because the next one is May 20. What did I say? May 22nd. Yeah, May 22nd. That would be round 6. So congratulations to all of our contestants, and we'll see more on May 20.
Fantastic.
Okie dokie. And there's the information at the bottom for the Global Virtual Teen Talent Contest round 6, May 22nd. And just support this by sharing that information. Okay.
Fantastic.
All right. So you want to take it away? You can stay with us, Dr. O, or you can go see some more patients. It's entirely up to you.
Well, if you don't have any patients waiting, I got one more question for Dr. O. And a lot of my friends from Nigeria have been making the, I guess, comparison in terms of what we do to motivate our children. And most of my friends that are Nigerian, highly ambitious and driven. And I think maybe because here there's a feeling of not having access to information. But what did your family do to motivate you to go into health, and what gave you the drive to do it?
I think initially when I was a kid, I mean they instilled the sense of all things are possible, through hard work, all things are possible. Whatever it is you're trying to do, you can do it. You can achieve it. And that was kind of like a mindset that I had all throughout, I think so, like throughout all of grade school, which I think is like the most important part of like kind of building a foundation. I had that support system there, single mother that was like really right on top of me like the whole time. And I went away for high school. I got in a scholarship to go to school on the East Coast in Massachusetts, and in that area, in that aspect, in that environment, the education was superb, but that immediate support structure wasn't there in the same aspect that it was like during the earlier childhood. So I'll say that it's not even necessarily always only about being at the best schools. Like, you have to kind of combine having like a good enough program that you're in with having that support structure. The support structure can make or break pretty much anything. You can be in the best curriculum, best school in the world. If you don't have a support structure to kind of help you out, through the trying times, which invariably everyone encounters trying times. And because you start to notice that there's other environments where there's certain situations where you end up not having the same amount of abilities to to kind of cope with some of the pressure that you experience in those situations. Yeah. But yeah, I just definitely continue to work on, I kind of developed my mindset of let me look into healthcare a little bit. Like at a certain point, I graduated undergrad with a degree in business, and so over time, and it was right around the time of the recession, so the recession, graduated, things are a little bit rough right now. Like, but in the same time, it served as a blessing because it allowed me to mentally kind of take a step back and reassess it.
Oops, sorry about that.
It allowed me to kind of reassess things a little bit in order to kind of think about where do my priorities really lie? Like where do I really want to see myself? Like, what do I get the most satisfaction out of? If I'm trying to sell something to someone, do I get a good degree of, like, regardless of what it is, do I get a good enough degree of satisfaction to where I feel as though that can kind of catapult me throughout the rest of my adult life? Or do I feel as though there's some different calling, not necessarily saying a higher calling, lower calling? Everybody's going to kind of partake in their own individual journeys. But for me, and I was thankful for having a strong family foundation for allowing that to occur. But, I basically took my necessary prerequisites to kind of remedy the gaps in coursework that I was going to have to take to pursue the path that I went into. But yeah, so it was kind of like one of those things where as a kid I thought maybe healthcare, mentorship wise, I think sometimes you in some of these schools you end up having like mentors that really they're not really necessarily invested in your ultimate path. It's like, you don't even necessarily notice that all the time as a student. You just like, oh, this is a mentor. Like they have the answers. And it's like, no, they don't necessarily have the answers. Like, you know what I mean? They're not necessarily invested. So in some ways, there's for some people, there's a bit of a revelation that has to occur at some point in life in which you realize like, okay, maybe this is my calling. Let me, so I think that when I was taking prerequisites, another individual who was actually like an older gentleman, he had told me a little bit about the path, and he told me, oh, by the way, I'm applying and whatnot. Maybe you should apply too. Just kind of, I think that you have the personality that you could be pretty, you could be very good and whatnot. And at first I was like, yeah, whatever, but I went home, I did my research, and I liked what I saw. So from that point on, I pretty much remedied the discrepancy between where I was and where I wanted to be, and then just pursued it, just went all in. And that's kind of how it all happened, basically.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Go ahead.
And I think somebody had asked me, I can't recall, maybe it was you, Zelda, like about some injuries and things, some ailments that I had experienced over time that kind of like gradually got me interested a little bit. Yeah, I had a few injuries over time. In high school, I had a little bit of a hip issue, playing football, like messing around. Like I was probably like 130 pounds soaking wet. I really didn't need to be doing all that. I really didn't need to be doing all that. It was probably advised against by like my mother. She's like, no, don't do that. Run across country, do something else. That doesn't involve these people trying to knock your head off. Well, you're too smart to be letting these people just run you down like this. So but I played a bunch of just different sports. Like a lot of sports in that environment, sports were kind of like thrust upon me. Like we kind of like, there was like the idea of trying to build like a well-rounded individual. Like the academics part was addressed already. And it's like, okay, we want people who are gonna be physically active and kind of build that foundational experience so that as you go on in life, you acknowledge the importance of that physical activity. Yeah, but I had a mild hip issue in high school. Had a broken rib and from football. That was bad.
No, your mother wanted you to quit then.
That was rough. Like, when you sneeze and every time you sneeze, you're like, the pain, the anguish. Yeah, I had I don't know if you can see the difference between this finger and this finger. I'd gotten a broken finger there. Yeah, my athletic trainer was basically like, just put ice on it, and my fingers like literally dangling, like So some of those experiences, like in high school, that kind of like urged me to kind of question things a little bit more, because I was always like an inquisitive mind coming up. I always, I was one that would challenge teachers and things like that. And like this, like the put ice on it thing, just didn't seem like a valid solution.
And then what? It's still broke.
Right, it's still broken, right? So like, so I had that experience in college, like, so I was a high level athlete, like track and field. I walked on to a college program. I just pretty much decided, like, because I had gotten such limited experience with track and field, and I had some like what I felt like were tearjerker stories back in my high school years, as far as like, as we basically, as I was coming into the program, into the high school, they were basically, it was a small school, so like maybe 400 or so students. They decided that they were going to cut certain teams out of the equation. So like, one of the things I showed promise in was track and field, and I wanted to I wanted to run. I wanted to compete, and and it seemed for a little while like, oh wow, okay, we're still able to do it as like a club capacity, which at that point it's like there's no budget, but you have to just find a way to get to the competitions and things of that nature. But I was just so motivated with it, and I think the very last meet in high school that I had, I had qualified in the prelims. I qualified for the finals with like the best time. And then
what did you run?
I did all the sprints. I did sprints.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I probably just did short sprints at that point in time. But I qualified for the finals with basically the top time or top 2 times or whatever, and in the conference. And because I didn't have a coach, apparently, I'm warming up for the finals. Like, all right, I'm about to really show out now. I just can't wait. And I get like one of my true like school mentors who was like, oh, sorry about that. One moment.
Somebody's calling the doctor.
One of my school mentors, who was very transformative for me over there out on the East Coast, he came by and told me, he's like, you're not gonna believe this, Shagun. Like, he's Haitian. He's like, yeah, you're not gonna believe this, Shagun. This is just so bad. I can't believe what they just did. He's like, they said that apparently because I didn't have a coach present, which I didn't have a coach, but because I didn't have a coach present at the coaches meeting, I wasn't gonna be able to run in the final.
Oh no!
Yeah, so the sensation.
How come they hadn't assigned you a coach or something? I mean, what happened with that?
I have no clue. It was just such a strange and unfortunate incident. So I ended up taking that rage and that sense of unfulfilled opportunity. I ended up kind of taking that with me into like my college. Like, I'm like, regardless of where I go for college, I'm running. So that's one thing for sure. So I came on, but I came on with a little bit of a sense of like, I'm a little bit behind the ball as far as experience wise. Cause a lot of people that are like, people don't tend to just hop into like a college sport without really like a strong foundation.
Yeah.
From high school or even younger.
Yeah.
So I basically kind of took like almost like a scientific approach to things. As soon as I came on, like, I'm like, like failure will not be like part of the equation. Yeah. So I was at a small program, but I ended up being a 7-time All-American in the NCAA in the division that I was in. But I sustained a few injuries, stress fracture on my second metatarsal, so like one of the bones in the foot. That was a setback, and then also I had a laparoscopic sports hernia repair. Yeah.
What is that?
So I had what they call the sports hernia, which was like the bone, the muscle / tendon kind of pulls off from the bone a certain amount, rather than like a typical hernia where like the contents of like the intestine kind of protrude through a piece of muscle or whatnot. For me, it was more like the muscle, part of the muscle kind of like ripped off, like kind of. Yeah, so I had to get a surgery to kind of mesh that together and whatnot. But yeah, like those kind of experiences definitely kind of brought me in a path towards like even thinking about like, oh well, when you get hurt, like, oh, it's all sweet when you feeling good, like, when you're feeling great and nothing is like holding you back. Oh, there's no better feeling than that. But what happens when you actually sustain an injury? At that point, you need some help, and you need people who your injury impacts them as much as much as it impacts yourself. Like that's when you really know you're in good hands, when the people that are around you won't settle for just
put ice on it.
Put ice on it. Yeah, they won't settle for just put ice on it. You know, you're I like that. Yeah, they absolutely, that's what'll absolutely kind of let you know you're in a loving space in your recovery and whatnot. Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, well, the fact that you had those injuries made you more, what's the word?
Empathetic.
Empathetic.
Sympathetic. Yeah. And I know our listeners and viewers are a little less sympathetic this morning because I haven't played the winners yet. So I'm going to add that to the stream, and I'm going to play that. I don't know why I keep playing the wrong one. I'm going to find it because I need to share this. No, it's not share screen. It's not. I've got a video file. I had it up. You were talking, and I didn't want to lose you. So, there it is. And I got the wrong one up. But anyway, mark your calendars for Saturday, fourth Saturday. Every fourth Saturday. The next one will be May 22nd at 12 noon Central Standard Time. And on blogtalkradio.com. I'm sorry, not Blog Talk, YouTube.com Higher Learning TV show. And now that I have it, I can show you our winners. So we are going. What is it on this? Well, I can say this. Show is sponsored by StreamYard. How about that?
Yeah, I think you've got a caller on the switchboard too. I don't know if you've switched 73737.
Yeah, let me remove that actually. Remove, enters. And then the phone is ringing and I thought that was off. Well, it will just have to ring. Okay, so let's get this call. 773-737. You're live on the Female Solution. Grand Rising. What's your name? Where you calling from? And I think I actually hung up.
Oh, did you? I see it's still on the switchboard. Just tell them to unmute.
Unmute yourself. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I hung up. So that's my fault. So that's why they can't get their question on. But if they can go online, yeah, I hung up because my phone was going and that caused a problem. So I don't even know who they are. So I apologize, 737, whoever you are, because we can't hear you. And that is my fault. But
so you hung up from the switchboard?
Yeah. So
it's not showing that it is ended yet. So I don't know, maybe.
When I called in, it just said that your call will go live in a few minutes, and I was like, "Okay, I don't want to go." No, it did not live. What is? That is not what I want. I am having technical difficulties this morning, and I can't get this to
bring them in.
Yeah, I've got the video queued up to where I wanted to go. But it's giving me I got it queued up, ready to go. What am I doing wrong? I don't get this. It's called After Show Technology Issues. I'm going to delete this, remove from studio. Oh, is this it right here? Let's see. Let's see what happens.
We love you on Windy City Live. Yes, we do. Tell us, how did all this happen? How did this come about?
Well, I play me. I play Val Warner in Chirac, which is really cool. So when people see this movie, they are literally seeing Val, and I am a reporter in the movie.
We talk about the violence, but what can we do personally?
I think we got to be
Yeah, you can hear it.
Engaged in a number of things.
Oh,
you can't see
it. We saw it for a second there.
Yeah, but it's not. I have it queued up to where it needs to be because you've got like 3-4 minutes of footage that I don't want you to see. I want you to see our winner. And that's the one. I'm going to try and pull that one up. You all talk for a minute. Let me see if I can pull that up. Naima.
Well, I'm hoping that as we make these international trips or national trips, whatever, that eventually we take a flight to Nigeria. I have,
yes, ma'am.
The homeland of your father, because I see that it would be nice. I think if we could have kind of maybe even a cultural exchange of young people from here and young people from other parts of the world. And what you're doing with the youth talent show is phenomenal. Part of our part of a global community. And
okay, I'm just gonna let it play.
We love you on Windy City Live. Yes, we do. Tell us, how did all this happen? How did this come about?
Well, I play me. I play Val Warner in Chirac, which is really cool. So when people see this movie, they are literally seeing Val, and I am a reporter in the movie.
We talk about the violence, but what can we do personally?
I think we got to be engaged, and I think engaged in a number of things. In our block, in our home, in our neighborhood, we got to be engaged. We got to fight the issues.
Did I tell you I was in that movie, Chirac? Did I tell you?
No!
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was interesting. Watching Spike Lee work was definitely an interesting experience. Yes.
The movie's been out how long, and you just telling somebody? Are you serious?
Well, I was just an extra in there. I wasn't like a main person.
So you were still in it.
But what was eerie, because we were in that church scene with the funeral, the girl that had gotten killed, and Saint Sabine and all that had the funeral. Well, after we had shot the film, I think it was like a couple of weeks later, I'm trying to think of a young man who got killed. But it was so weird because in the filming of the movie, and Jennifer Hudson played the mother, she was grief stricken and crying and all that. And, they had the casket up there, the little girl that supposedly got shot to death and everything. And so, and then the actor, was it John Cusack, that played the Father Flager character.
Right.
Well, then a couple of weeks later, there's a child that gets killed. And I attended the funeral, and it was so weird. It's like reenacting the whole scene that we had just done for the movie, except this was for real. There was a real body in the casket, and the mother, the grieving mother. I mean, the whole thing, and we had just done it in the movie. And I'm like, this is just so eerie. And the only thing that was missing was the big cameras everywhere that Spike Lee had for the film. But other than that, everything was the exact same. A church packed full of mourning people crying, and the casket, and the fiery speech by Father Flager, and we got to stop this violence. I mean, the whole thing. And I'm like, this is the weirdest deja vu kind of experience ever.
Wow.
I remember I wrote a column about it because I was writing for a couple of newspapers at the time, and just chronicling that whole experience and doing the movie. And one of the things that I kind of had a chance to see close up, and it was fun. It was fun. Angela Bassett, of course, it was fun working with her and all the other stars. And I mean, I could have bogarted everybody out the way and made sure I stood next to her in all the scenes and stuff. And I'm glad
you didn't. I'm glad you are. And you mentioned Father Flager, so I got Father Flager here. Let's see if we can get the video to play. Father Flager, we're waiting on you. Why are you not speaking now? We just talked about you. Okay, you want to talk, Father Flager?
Hi, my name is Zaya Janae. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I'm 13 years old, and my hobbies are running track and singing and songwriting. And this is my original song called Jealousy.
You know what?
These computers never act right when you need them.
So y'all just gonna have to.
That's her. Oh.
Clap for
That's the song she wrote?
For her, clap, clap for her. Jealous, why?
Where's the website? Should they go to higherlearningnetwork.org? They post it.
I'm a cold clap for her, no clap for her. I'm a cold. Steady going around flexing like, yeah. Supposed to be my throne, yeah. She's where I'm supposed to be. Sitting there so carefree. I'm so jealous. Clap for her, no. Clap for her. I'm a go. Clap for her, no. Clap for her. I'm a go. Her success kills you.
You can see her live on YouTube because for some reason it will not play on my computer. It is freezing up. So just go to YouTube. The information is scrolling at the bottom. First,
you got all the things. You got the Blog Talk Switchboard, and then you got StreamYard and Facebook and all. So sometimes there's too many things to pull it on the internet for it to pull things.
And that's exactly what's happening. And our second place winner is Amber Murdoch, who got her video in just in the nick of time. She's a second place winner. She experienced a death, a shooting in her family. And she still got that video in. She was
wow.
And she spoke in Mandarin. What's the word? Mandarin.
Mandarin. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Yes.
Go to YouTube.com. You'll see it. She Janiyah was the second. Mariah Carey was the first. I call her Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey, like singer, was the first contestant. The second contestant was Zaya Janae. Third contestant was Martin Cam, and the fourth contestant was Amber Murdoch, which is our fourth contestant, but second place winner. So kudos to them all. Congratulate them all for doing a wonderful job. Round 6 will be next month, May 22nd. It's the first one on every fourth Saturday of the month. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it. Okay, and it's scrolling right down there. So if you've got some things you want to send our way, Dr. O, please have them send us an email, hlntvshow.com.
What is the age range? For
13 to 19. And Zaya was 13. Mariah, I think, was 16. Martin was 16, I think, and Amber was 18.
Wow, okay.
Powerful little people. So
wow, that is amazing. Yeah. Our young people go through so much, but you know, they are inspired to write and sing and spoken word, and they're like the storytellers of our time because they take their creativity and give us a mirror of the society we have created.
Yes. If it's a monster, it's because we've created a monster.
That's right.
And they are only sharing what they are experiencing. So that means we as a people got to do something better.
Yep, we got to do better.
Go ahead.
So, you know what was interesting in the whole Chirac experience? It was a way to really engage the community, and I see the power of those who have chosen to become film producers, because there was a lot of people that were involved in that effort. A lot of, I mean, you think about crowd scenes. in movies, every single person that's in a crowd is a paid extra. So they don't just random people off the street. You pay those people,
Yes,
and
you
you
do.
need those people. So,
Right.
People like Tyler Perry and others that are in the industry, that creates a lot of jobs, a lot of people that are working during that period where the movie is produced. So one of the things that has happened in Chicago, a lot of films have been made here. I think that is a benefit. And I know, a lot of people are kind of mad at Rahm Emanuel because they know he had, his brother, I guess, had ties to Hollywood. And after he got elected, there were a lot of movies here. But just being on the set of Chirac and seeing the money that was spent, the money spent for the people that are hired, all the different extras, all different scenes, and then they fed us really good. So I'm thinking, everybody, everything was not wrong about Mayor Rahm Emanuel. There were some things that were helpful. And when you think of anything that brings industry and employment, it's helpful. And then, of course, the story itself, it so mirrored what we were going through as a city with the young shootings and everything. Now, I do understand that a lot of people didn't get how he was trying to kind of base it on the musical kind of a poetic way with the script and everything, and have it as sort of a comedy satire. And of course, killing is not funny, but I understand what he was trying to do in terms of that style of using satire. But it was one scene, because the way he wrote the script is kind of supposed to have been lyrical and so forth. And there was one scene with Angela Bassett, and she was, and I don't know how early the actors got the scripts, but there was a line in it, and she was kind of having difficulty with it. And it was a scene where we were standing out there with these big, heavy signs, and it was hot that day, and I was wearing shoes that were killing my feet. And we're standing there with these big, heavy signs, and Angela Bassett was saying the line, and kind of stumbled over and had to do it again, and I stumbled over and did it again, and she kind of stumbled it again, and I'm like, oh, Angela, we love you, but if you go that line one more time, we're gonna have to fight because my feet's killing me.
Okay.
But the movie itself, it turned out to be a really beautiful experience. You met people, you made friends, and I understood the whole industry and how all the extras that you employ, people that are working, and you get a chance to meet people who this is their life's work, and tell a story that really needs to be told. So I do appreciate, of course, Nick Cannon being the lead and everything. I appreciate the fact that he did bring some light to Chicago with the crime situation, and I think more can be done. And then, of course, discovering new talent like you're doing, discovering new talent, giving people a chance to creatively express the pain of these times. I think every family has had somebody that got shot or somebody that died, or, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Everybody has been touched by this violence. And one of the things in my 555 message this morning, I'm looking at the fact that we really can change things, but we can't keep doing things the same way and expecting different results. This isn't working. This high police state, this is not working, because the police are terrified. And so everybody who in their mind fits an image of a criminal, they're coming at you at a traffic stop with a gun drawn. What's the matter with you?
Right.
You got the signal at the corner and you're going to blow my head off?
Thank you.
So that whole thing needs to be scrapped. And we just got to admit, we should not be having traffic cops carrying guns at all. That's my belief. If nobody's armed, then nobody can kill each other from a distance. Now we can't do nothing, you get up on somebody close and, knock them upside the head. But in terms of, the long range shootings that kill people that aren't even involved in the dispute, we can end that. And I think a more creative artists keep putting out a message. And that's really what creative works do. That's what artists do. They give us a vision in a creative way, and they tell a story in a creative way, and they help change our mind.
And this is mine. This is my creative vision.
Oh, daily stress can kill you.
To lead into your point that you were sharing.
I know you have a connection to trees now.
You know, I got this obsession with trees.
Yeah.
Because they spoke to me and they'll speak to me.
Yeah.
All day in our comfortable boxes, inside the house, inside our job, inside our car, inside our heads, and we sometimes forget that the answers always are challenges. They are in a very If we get outside, the answers will come. And that's the higher learning virtual stress relief spa experience that kicks off this Saturday, May 1st at 12 noon. And this is just a tiny part of what you will experience. And we hope you enjoy that. I can see you looking relaxed already.
You know, music is a very healing element, and I think even that's something to be taught about, how certain sounds can accentuate the body. You know, a lot of, and I know, you know, all of y'all have had different people that talk about the science of sound and music and healing frequencies and things like that. So that's one of the things that I would like to have us refer people to, even so that people can make conscious choices about the kinds of music they play in their homes. You know, because sometimes you can be listening to something that's stressing you out and you don't realize it, especially like if you have the TV on and you have a lot of news that's talking about, you know, the worst crimes going on, and that stresses you out because you're experiencing the whatever the person on the news is going through, whether it's, you know, violence or whatever. You're experiencing the physical effects of that, even though it's not you, but just listening to it is affecting you physically.
Yes.
So I try to just watch comedies, things that make me laugh, or, you know, even if it's a drama, it's something that's not violent, but maybe, you know, a love story or something, but nothing to stress me out, because that has a physical impact. And so if you listen to the music, the mood music, or, you know, sound of birds, you can feel it in your body. Everything that you say, you can feel it in your body. You can, if you say something negative, you can feel it in your body. If you say something positive, you can feel it in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we were going through the language exercise yesterday. I was saying, first, get in touch with your feelings, because every word is connected to a feeling. So if you're feeling something and you attach a sound to it, then every time you say that sound, you're going to conjure up that feeling. So this is how we learn. Basically, the languages that we speak, we're just vocalizing the feeling that we have. So if you call somebody a negative name, what feeling is that creating in your body?
Right.
So even saying things, you know, cuss words, I don't say them. You know, my friend was going through some issues with his throat, you know, and I said, because he has a beautiful singing voice, I said, sing gospel music, don't cuss anymore. sing gospel music, sing beautiful songs, love songs. And it's thrown because we're actually creating the effects of the sound is creating effects in the cells of our body. So, being conscious of everything we put in our 5 senses, what you see, hear, smell, taste, touch, they're all connected to feelings. This is why when you have a traumatic experience and say maybe there was a smell in the air at the time, and then you smell that same smell again, it'll trigger that feeling.
Yes, it will.
Everything has a memory to your feelings. So this, I'm so grateful for the kinds of health conscious people that the hosts of the Female Solution have brought on and have shared with our listening and viewing audience. Because I think if we approach health differently from the holistic expression of being aware of how everything and all of our senses are sight, sound, hearing, taste, touch, everything is connected to a feeling. And so if we are conscious of what we're putting into our senses, in addition to what we're putting in our bodies in terms of food, then we can always be at the highest vibration of health. One of the things that we've been talking about, even in terms of people's fear of the coronavirus, there are certain physical states that make it possible for, if you get exposed to it, for number one, for you to be infected, number two, for the infection to have a devastating impact. And it depends on what you have been doing with your body that would either strengthen or weaken your immune system.
Please talk about Corona Man. We got 2 minutes. Please talk about Corona Man.
Oh, get ready. We are in
right now. Looks like Corona Man. I just thought about that.
Ooh.
Wait. Dr. O, you look like Corona Man.
Wait, what is this? Corona Man? What is
this? There we go. We have a new comic book superhero, and our graphic artists are working on it now. Corona Man. And this is, he explains, people think I'm a villain, but I'm not. I'm here to help you choose better ways to take care of your body so you can strengthen your immune system. And so I'm here among you to encourage you to get your health together. And I come to those who are doing things that are weakening their immune system so that they can make changes in their lifestyle. And so we have, one of the things we want to do is remove the extreme fear that young people, that children are being indoctrinated with, fear of death and all of that. We want to give them a sense of power, that you have the power to keep yourself healthy if you eat right, eat your vegetables, drink good water, get some exercise, think good thoughts, all those things, say good words. So we want to teach them the whole biology of how the body system works through. I'm so glad you noticed that about him, that because we're giving our artists kind of a kind of a guide of how to make the character look. So here we go. We got a live face to work with.
We're not using your face. She already had that drawn up her artist with it, Dr. O. So we don't think that because you came on the show today.
I happen to look like him.
But you do look a lot like him. You're a superhero and don't even know it.
Yeah, see? We want him to smile too, because we didn't want him to be all scary looking. So you gotta smile. Look perfect. Yes, this is going to be introduced this spring, this summer, and a whole comic book series that we want to use to teach about good health. And just like Popeye was encouraging children to eat spinach, you get strong, you just been, I'm strong to the finish because I eat my spinach. I don't know if he's probably too young like that. But that was a character that was supposed to help children eat spinach, because a lot of children didn't want to eat spinach. So this is a character that's going to help people do healthy things and learn how their bodies work and strive to maintain optimum health. And that's what we created this. And in this era of all these superheroes and the success of the movie Panther and all of that, you know, we want to kind of, you know, benefit from the momentum of that and use this as a teachable moment through this character. So we're really excited. Look forward to the Corona Man Adventures coming soon.
Adventures coming soon. So stay close on the Female Solution. Be sure and join us tomorrow for self-care with Jody Susan. And we have a promo. I got to do a promo with her coming up for the show for the higher learning spa experience that you see scrolling under the bottom. We got to do another promo today. So we're about to wrap this up. Thank you so much, Dr. O.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you back. We know you have patients to see, so we appreciate you spending some time with us this morning. And our executive producer, Naima Latif. And I'm going
on my knees soon.
Absolutely.
I want you to hear the ending. Oh, you can't hear it because.
Wait, let me see if I can play it because it's. Let's see if you can hear.
Yeah. So yeah, see if you can play it. So because I want Dr. O to hear it because we speak in so many different languages. Yeah, you can play it, Naima. Because I accidentally. Oh, I so wanted them to hear it. Okay, yeah. Now you only got one line open, so you should be able to play it now. Dr. O, Naima has been to many foreign countries that I have not been to.
There you go.
And she shares about degree in different languages.
We've come to the end of our show today, but you can hear every show in the archive at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. You can also hear today's show on the Female Solution Facebook page. Go to www.facebook.com/the-female-solution. Leave your comments about today's show. You can always reach me on my website at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. Watch our TV shows, listen to our radio shows, order our books, and be sure to get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussion. And to our global family listening from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, Sheshe, India, Zanyaba, Japan, Arigato, Kamsahamnida, Russia, Spasiba, Germany, Danke, Poli, Jiankuyang, Merci.
Yes.
Italy, Grazie. Shukran. Madasi. Eshe. Niabonga. Jared. Kenya. Asante. Toda. Shukriya. Tashakur. Arabia. Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.
Thank you for being a part of Monday Morning Mindfulness. Old school style, love, peace, and hair grease. Make it a great day. Thanks for watching.